Joe Biden wanted a black woman on the Supreme Court. And I think she is going to have a difficult time outliving the stain that affirmative action type approach gives her.
Let's start with a quick round of intro. Tell people who you are, where they can find you, what you stand for, and all of this. And let's start with fresh-faced new ideas.
Let's start with the Hippy Dippy champion, Mr. Geek. What are you thinking, bro? What are you thinking? Welcome, everybody, to this Sunday edition of the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show, brought to you by Mr. Geek and the Hippy Dippy champion. We got a room full of people here tonight that think they got what it takes to step inside the squared circle and possibly be ready for a debate. Mr. Geek want to throw it up to Alec Gunner first. So, Alec Gunner, take it away.
Damn. I don't know if I can match that energy right now. Thank you. My name is Alec Gunter.
Fucking game. Let's go.
You know what? You're fucking right. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. All right. My name is Alec Gunter. I've been on the I've been on the Hippy Dippy panel a couple of times. The recruitment panel, I should say. I'm a lefty streamer. I do all kinds of fun, meme content like video gaming and etc. So, hop on by if you're looking for leftist meme times. That's about it.
Always happy to have you on. Fresh-faced new idea. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Fresh Faces New Ideas. I'm also a left-wing streamer. I consider myself a Bernie bro. I usually stream 2 to 3 times a week. It used to be more. Now it's always up in the air. It's usually at 7:30 p.m. EST. Other than that, I talk about what's going on and I yell angrily into the void. And then I come on panels. I do a lot of panels with independent thought. I think at some point we might be doing some ones, but we'll keep people in touch on that one.
Bro, did you star in The Sandlot?
Oh.
Are you sure? Because that hat's got that long-ass bill like on Sandlot. I'm just wondering, bro.
Oh, no, I was like 6 when The Sandlot came out.
Exactly. You could have starred. Sorry, Geek, go ahead.
Happy to have you back, Fresh Face. I'm going to throw it to Gremlo. How are you doing?
Well, folks, my name is Grimlow. I'm a freedom-loving American, and I stream on twitch.tv/Grimlow Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We talk about all things patriotic and American. You can catch me there. And on Thursday nights, we do Ministry of Science, where we talk about how vaccines all have microchips in them. So stop by sometime.
Sounds pretty cool. Oh, and by the way, Fresh Face, can't wait for your podcast or whatever you're doing with Independent Thought. I think you're both good content creators, so yeah, keep me in touch with that. Have big takes. How are you doing?
What's up? Good, thank you, Mr. Geek, CTV, whole Hippy Dippy crew. You know, I love coming on. I'm Half Big Takes. I'm your friendly neighborhood enlightened centrist. I don't stream very much, but I do post these panel debates on YouTube and Twitch. And currently, I'm a grad student working on the Hill for a House of Representatives member. So I'm kind of in the thick of this right now. So
that's pretty cool. All right. Give me a sec. Apparently, your volume is pretty low. Let me put you back to normal. All right. K-Buckhoff, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
I'm K-Buckhoff. I stream on Twitch when I feel like it. It's very rarely. We're trying to get back into the swing of things. Normally, I'm a variety gamer. I play RP-based games, and we're kind of new into the politics side of things. Been on a couple panels here and there. Like to stir up some chaos and give some takes that most people on the panels don't like. But yeah, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at K-Buckhoff.
All right. MPU, thank you for joining us last minute. More Perfect Union, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm the More Perfect Union, everybody's favorite fucking has-been, apparently. I stream constitutional politics, current events on twitch.tv/The More Perfect Union. You can find me on Twitter at the MPU. Do these panels. I'm a veteran of this panel, veteran of the main Hippy Dippy, veteran of a bunch of different stuff. So if you think you're going to get one over on me by calling me a boomer, joke's on you. I served in the United States Navy submarine community, so I, in fact, was attached to a boomer for many, many years.
Hell yeah.
And it must be said, right, that MPU is the only qualified in-flight missile mechanic here on Twitch Politics. Okay, in-flight missile mechanic.
I am me and Dr. fucking Strangelove.
Pretty fucking impressive.
Anyway, Jude WTH, how are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. So I go by Jude. You can find me at twitch.tv/JudeWTH. I wanted what the fuck, but I had to settle for what the hell because somebody beat me to it. I play video games, watch news stories of the day, and do a lot of ranting, real meta-breaking stuff. And you can find me most nights, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. So let's go over the rule real quick and let's jump right into it. So first of all, the show is going to go like this: one fun topic, one serious topic in the middle, and one fun topic to end. During each topic, you're going to have opening statement, period where you can engage, and closing statement. Do not interrupt other people during opening and closing statement. More important than this, do not interrupt me. If you hear French accent, you know that I'm not going to talk to chime in. I'm going to talk to moderate. So when I speak, no one else speaks. If you hear French accent, it's time to shut up.
And if you don't, I'm going to server mute you. So.
Yeah. What else? Don't interrupt. Try not to interrupt when people are speaking for no reason. If you can chime in, if you see that like people are talking, you want to join in, but you don't have like the chance, raise your hand. I will give you a thumbs up. Keep this as a last resort. Really, if you cannot like jump in. Nothing TOS, obviously. You know, we all want to keep our platform. And yeah, please respect everyone. With that being said, let's jump into the first topic, which is... All right. A chicken nugget sandwiches. I know we're starting with a hard topic, but if you think about it, I think it's hard to make a case against, for the cons. Anyway, I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Wait, what was the first word? It was, it's something sandwiches.
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets, all right. Your accent took over there for a second.
Sorry, listen. I'm back to speaking to French people. I'm losing all of my English, so sorry. CTV.
Are chicken nuggets sandwiches? No.
All right. Fresh face, new ideas.
Should be a short topic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with no too. It's like it can't be a sandwich. I understand you think the breading doesn't go all the way around like that on a sandwich. It's not. No, you got to be able to replace with other stuff.
So would you say it's more like a ravioli? Just to be clear. Anyway, I'm going to let you think about this.
No,
Gremlo.
it's a fucking chicken nugget, geek. Look, here's the deal, bro.
Do not
right?
interrupt.
No, I
Gremlo.
said no, right? I reserved my time. Now,
Gremlo.
listen, geek. There's
Gremlo.
I think this is another clear indication of the French trying to obfuscate from the truth. The question you should be asking is a hot dog a sandwich? And the truth that the French often try to, push away from is that no, it's not a sandwich and it's not a hot dog. It's a taco. I rest my case.
All right. Have big takes. First,
What the
correct
fuck are we
thing.
talking? What the fuck are we talking about? How is this even a chicken nugget, a sandwich? No, absolutely not. And if there's somebody in here that gives that take, I don't know, CTV, you might need to fucking deal.
All right, Jude.
I think you could probably say it's closer to a burrito by that logic than anything else. But no, it's hard. No, it's definitely not a sandwich. Breading, breaded, in between two pieces of bread is not the same thing.
I will reserve my question for my time. K-Bookoff.
Yeah, I was gonna say the burrito thing. I did a quick, hey, what's the definition of a sandwich? 2 pieces of bread with meat, cheese, or filling in between it. So like, if the chicken nugget all of a sudden the sides weren't covered in that bread, then yeah, maybe we could say it's a sandwich, but it's not. So it's like Jude said, it's more of a burrito. There's no other, like a burrito fully encases it, or any other type of like sandwich type or taco or whatever that like encases like completely around, like a subcategory, yes, but not a sandwich.
Really coming hard at the Danish right now.
God damn.
Yeah, you gotta have that subcategory of something that fully encapsulated by bread. Then yes, we can go with it, but not 2 pieces filled with.
All right, MPU. Sorry.
Yeah, I think in these modern woke times that we have, I think a chicken nugget can identify as a sandwich if it chooses. We'd have to respect the McNugget. So the fact that people want to call it a burrito, it's just like I said, okay, well, I have an Aleve liquid gel, so because it's surrounded by a shell, it must be a burrito pill. No, I just, I don't get it, right? I don't get it. So it's a pressure formed, mechanically separated hunk of chicken, that flies through a bunch of batter and then deep fried to some sort of a crispy finish. It's not a sandwich unless it wants to be, and then we'd have to define yet another pronoun. So, no, I don't think so. But it can be what it wants to be.
I didn't expect the topic to go there. But,
well, I'm a last minute fill in. I just have to roll with it.
Perfect. That's all we're asking from you. But anyway, a chicken nugget sandwiches, you guys can engage.
Wait, I didn't get to say my
Alex
Wait,
didn't go.
sorry.
And a silence left once again.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's late for me, Jude.
You even moved me up on the tier list, man. Come on. Or no, not you. It was Danabo. Sorry.
Wow, now you're confusing the Brit and the Frenchman. Are you fucking crazy right now?
Yeah,
you don't know how old that rivalry is? Jesus.
You just confused Alec with Jude.
You might have actually
like,
just...
he literally just said, Jude, go ahead, and it was Alec who that got skipped.
It's fine. Sandwich is a social construct. If you want to identify it as a sandwich while you eat it, then I have no issue with that.
Well, I think it's the sandwich that needs to identify.
Are we open now? Did we open it?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, no. Sorry, I need to recompose myself. I wasn't expecting the show to start like this. All right, who didn't go? Sorry.
I think that's everybody now.
I think that's
All right,
everyone.
perfect. You can engage.
This is the kind of logic that takes you to fucking communism. You gonna tell me if fried chicken is a motherfucking sandwich next time? If it ain't got no fucking biscuit, guess what? There ain't no possibility to be no fucking sandwich. And chicken nuggets ain't got no fucking biscuit. They're just chicken nuggets. All right?
Well,
It's a sandwich.
what about sandwich cookies?
That's
Still
Yeah,
something
like
on top, something on the bottom, and something good in the middle.
It's not bread, though.
You don't have the bread. You could take like a
the
slice of
technic-
chicken and put like 2 slices of ham on one on the top, one on the bottom, and that's a sandwich.
Yeah.
The
It's we
only
redefine
way
terms,
a
right?
chicken nugget becomes a motherfucking sandwich is if you inject it with gravy, right? Then it's got something gooey in the middle of it when you bite into it, and it's like a motherfucking hamster.
Well,
You
it's
got-
a
you
trouble
got
at that point,
hamsters.
though.
That would make it a ravioli, my friend.
TV, is a jelly donut a sandwich then?
It's a jelly donut.
Yeah, but you just
Okay,
said if
yeah,
it
but by
if
your
it's filling
definition,
inside
that
of
Okay,
it.
let me...
Logic.
It's chow allowed in the barracks private pile. Are you
No.
allowed to eat jelly donuts, private pile?
Hey, they called me
By
private
your
pile in
standards,
football. You
sir.
can't say that around.
So if the definition of a sandwich is two pieces of bread with something in between them, what do you have when you have two pieces of bread and you jam them together? Is that a jam sandwich?
I think that's called a
I get it.
collage.
Wait, are you saying just eat bread, 2 pieces of bread?
Well, it's a jam sandwich, right? You take two pieces of bread and you jam them together.
No, you're
There's
just eating
nothing
bread at that point.
The
You're
next
just eating
level.
bread. That's just
Yeah,
bread.
Next level.
It could be an air sandwich.
You know what I mean?
An air
You guys
sandwich.
need to open you have to open your horizons a little bit.
No, that's a hangover cure, not a. Not
Yeah,
a
Possible.
or like right before you go to bed, absorb the rest of the alcohol that's in your stomach.
Keep yourself from dying. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No, I think the
Drinking
most,
alcohol.
the only thing that possibly it could be, like, somebody suggested a ravioli earlier, like
Yeah.
possibly a burrito, possibly, or you can go on MPU's logic, like whatever the fuck it wants to identify is, we just got to conform to that and say, yeah, chicken nuggets, whatever it wants to be, but we got to first have chicken nuggets talk to us and tell us what they want to be called.
No. See, you have to be that's pretty human centric, right? I mean, there are multiple
No,
forms
it's
of
pretty
communication.
alive centric.
There are multiple life forms in the universe. It is incredibly racist or speciesist to assume that human language is the only form of speech available.
How the fuck am I supposed to tell if my cat wants to be a dog?
You're supposed to hang on a second. You're supposed to feel your way through it, right? This is what we've been taught to do in the last 20 years. We have to
Listen,
feel things.
Yeah. But listen, look, if you've got bacteria growing on your chicken nuggets and that's what actually brings it to life, maybe you should have ate them when they were fresh.
No. I didn't say.
As soon as they come out of the fucking fryer, bro, they're fucking dead. This is alive centric. This ain't got shit to do with speciesism or.
No, we weren't talking about McNuggets or chicken nuggets in motion. I mean, I know.
That's
but we're
also
not
kind of
saying
the
that. We're
point.
saying
push them in motion.
the nugget
If you leave a
itself,
chicken nugget,
right,
it's not gonna go
has
anywhere.
there's a spark of divinity in every chicken nugget.
I think we have to go off of what gives us the most utility. Does it give us utility to consider a chicken nugget a sandwich? In my personal opinion, I don't think that it does, because it doesn't. You don't cut open a chicken nugget in the same way that you could like pull a piece of bread off of a sandwich and place things between it. It doesn't have a very easy access to its center. So while I stand by my point that it is a
chicken
social
nuggets you're
construct,
eating.
I will also posit that it doesn't give us a whole lot of utility to consider it a sandwich.
But wait, what if you're in a sandwich that's put together like really terribly, where everything is just kind of stuffed together and it's not easy to pull different parts apart? Would that not?
Are you gonna cut it
What if
together
you're a
half,
sandwich?
half first and then like save the other half for later?
Saves a chicken nugget.
Exactly. You can cut a sandwich in half. You can eat half of the sandwich and save the other half of it. I'm not gonna cut a chicken
You
nugget in
kind of
half.
get
and save
into
half that
you kind of
shit.
get into
just-
like a whole how hard does it have to be to take the layers apart in order for it to be considered a sandwich debacle? And that, I've been in this field for a while now, and that is a difficult and treacherous landscape to kind of traverse. But we could go there if you guys want.
So when you
Ask the
say
parent,
that,
like when they go to take their kid to McDonald's and their kid's too little to eat a chicken nugget, ask them how hard it is to take that breading off the chicken nugget to go and break it up, and then like
when you're saying the chicken nugget is hard, do you mean tensile strength or just difficulty of peeling it apart?
I just meant the difficulty of peeling it.
Yeah.
Because if your chicken nugget is really difficult to tear apart, you might want to start over, get a second order or something.
This is an interesting question, because if we take a chicken nugget and, in the case of like a Whataburger, put it between two halves of a biscuit, it is now a chicken nugget sandwich. So is it a sandwich at that point, if we're going to, operate off the assumption that the chicken nugget is itself a sandwich?
Yeah, well, I think that it
Like
definitely matters about the size of this prospective nugget that you're talking about, because at
What
some
about a
point,
fried chicken sandwich?
it does become a patty, right?
Yeah,
So that's the question that you'd have to ask next: is whether what's the size qualification for a nugget and what's the size qualification for a patty?
And our patties
you just
sandwich.
Good take, actually.
I think
Chicken patty sandwich?
size matters to the beholder.
If you just ate the patty with no bun, no fucking bread or anything, you wouldn't call that a sandwich. You'd be eating a
It'd be breaded chicken.
What about an open-faced McNugget sandwich? CTV knows what I'm talking about.
Is a
Open face, it still has a definition associated with it.
Wait.
You're still talking about half of a piece of bread underneath the whatever it is you're eating.
And I think it's generally a whole piece of bread. It's just one piece of bread.
You know how at Thanksgiving we stuff the turkey? Does that make the turkey a sandwich?
That's a good
No, it's a
point.
pita pocket.
Well, yeah. What happens when the bread's inside the meat?
Yeah.
Is that a pierogi? Is that like a pierogi?
No, because then you end up with those burgers, those
Big
those
nugget
grilled cheese
pierogi?
burgers.
Didn't a fast food restaurant try to do something goofy like that not that long ago?
Yeah, KFC had the chicken sandwich,
On
and
the
like
outside.
the bread was the chicken.
2 pieces of meat and then
Taco Bell did
Yeah.
that too, I think.
God, I love
Yeah,
it.
it's like two pickles.
They did the burger bun. That
We
shit
gotta
was.
do
I
that.
love.
I got
You
a
take
comment.
one
like
bite and it
lettuce
shoots
and
right
stuff.
out of your hand from the grease.
I got a comment from the Tracksuit Mafia. Right? They said it's not a sandwich. It is at best a wonton.
Well, as a member of the Tracksuit Mafia, I'm going to have to side with them, so I'll shift my position.
Doesn't a
Is a
wonton
wonton a
have to be
sandwich, though?
wrapped in rice paper?
Is sushi a sandwich?
No. It's layered.
Sushi is closer to a
There's
burrito.
no bread.
But there is
No.
grain.
Depends. Maybe sashimi, right? Sashimi
The
probably
seaweed,
not.
well, the seaweed paper holding it together, you could make the slight argument that that's
Like a
Yeah,
burrito.
that's considered like
some
bread.
kind of
yeah.
breading.
Wrap.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a
like that's
California
like
roll.
the outer.
You do
yeah,
rice paper as well.
Everyone's
I feel like that'd be like the
positing-
idea that like burrito, like we said that you can use like lettuce or something for buns.
Yeah.
But, like, and it would count as a sandwich, but it'd be more of a burrito if you're wrapping it up like that with the sushi.
Now I'd like
But you don't
to-
necessarily have to, though, right? It can
I'd
just
like
be
to put
rolled
this
rice.
forward. When we take 3 people who are all acting dumb and we stick 2 of them in
Do you want to just
on
say
either
sick?
side of the middle person, we say you're an idiot sandwich now.
Mhm.
Okay? So
Oh,
being that as it may, they're all 3 made of human. You know, so you have 3 layers. So I guess is the prerequisite that you have to have at least 3 layers of any material like stacked on top of each other, and that makes a sandwich. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
two
what
outer
happens-
layers
what
would
happens
have
if
to be
the-
the same.
what
I don't like how you're
happens if
calling
the
out
two
half
people
baked
on the
cakes
out-
right now. That's really mean, dude. It's really uncivil.
What happens if the 2 people on the outside of the idiot sandwich are really, really tan? Is that an extra crispy idiot sandwich?
I suppose
is
it
that the
could be extra spicy.
Well, not spicy,
I don't
just crispy.
I feel like we'd
Oh,
have
I
to
don't
have the 2 on the outside would have to be the same. Like that'd be the same like with when you take a sandwich, you don't put like bread on top and then chicken on the bottom and then stuff all your shit in the middle. Like that's not a sandwich. You have to have it like 2 on the sides of the same. And the same
Okay,
kind
so
of
an
layers
upside-
are 2 outside.
Using that
Not
logic, is an
completely
upside down is an upside down pineapple cake not a cake?
It's an upside down cake. You
Well,
just said
okay,
it
so
yourself.
so you're saying the sandwich can't be upside down?
Oh, it
Can
can be, but
It's irrelevant.
it would be like an inside out sandwich or something like that. Like upside down would be the same thing. It'd be like both pieces of bread on the outside. You're just having the switch from each side. Maybe the fillings on the inside, like different order when you flip it upside down, but that's about it.
Is a macaroon a sandwich?
They have an inside-out sandwich.
What if you make
Yes.
a sandwich like an
Hey
anagram?
guys, humans are sandwiches.
Whoa.
Discuss.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa.
FYI, y'all, there's
I need a
a
minute.
poll. There's a poll in the
got the-
chat.
You got the epithelial layer here. You got the epithelial layer on the inside, and then all the meat between. We're sandwiches and
No,
donuts.
we'd
by
be
the way,
like we'd
because
be
the
like a chicken
esophagus
nugget.
leading all the way down to the anus is one hole.
I don't know. It
So,
sounds like
not
we're
a
like a
sandwich.
lasagna.
They're
I mean,
both
meat
sandwich and
popsicle.
donut. The 2 genders.
All right, well, there's a poll in the chat right now. Chat is saying, with a vote of 14-2, that a chicken nugget is not a sandwich.
Stop the count.
Can't argue with democracy.
Stop the
brother.
count. Stop the steal.
Yeah.
Hey, you got 9 minutes to vote. Why don't you get
I
over
feel
here and
like-
stop it?
We need to
I
get
feel
Mike
like
Pillow on this.
Alec, I feel like the human analogy is very similar to the chicken nugget analogy. Is we're still all wrapped and encapsulated. Like, yes, there is a few holes that lead through, but like you're still like it's not like a sandwich where like you see the sides completely or something like that. Like it's
Oh,
completely encapsulated.
that kind of
Not
ruins
only
my
that-
next argument. I was going to
Well,
say
yeah,
that my Adderall is a sandwich, but it's all right.
Yeah, Real quick, not only that, the original Gordon Ramsay meme where he was making a female chef out to be an idiot sandwich, he was still taking 2 pieces of bread and pressing it to either side of her head when he made her answer.
What about a
So
knuckle
speaking-
sandwich?
speaking
You don't
of
even need
Gordon
2 for that. You
Ramsay-
just need one fist.
Speaking of Gordon Ramsay, since we live in an era where we're supposed to like just listen to the experts, he said that hot dog is in fact a sandwich. So
I
I
actually care
disagree.
less about.
He's a Brit, so I don't really care.
I actually care less about what Gordon Ramsay said as I do the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, right? And of course, when the government, when presented the opportunity to apply another tax, of course said that a hot dog is a sandwich. And I'm pretty sure that these dumbass politicians, in the effort to try to collect more taxes, would have no problem calling a chicken nugget a fucking sandwich, right? So this is why we're asking the people, not the fucking government.
That's
They've
right.
just reduced it all down to prepared food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that point at some point. Don't worry.
And yeah, speaking of
No, nowhere
government,
there.
I think we killed that topic already. So let's jump into the main one. Let's
right.
do a really
Wait,
short.
we don't get closing statements?
Let's do really short closing statements, and let's start with K Buckoff.
All right, so like I said, it's more a burrito than it is a sandwich. It's completely encapsulated. Nothing more than to say that.
All right, Gremlo.
I'm gonna have to side with the Tracksuit Mafia on this one. Although I will take the ontological approach that it is closer to like a meat churro, as it is fried. So we'll go with that one.
Alec.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. Hermione Granger goes on a vacation to the Bahamas. Call that a sandwich. Got him. Okay, next.
Boom.
Boom.
Stealing
I
jokes from
hate how
Chad
long
again.
I hate how long it took me to get it. Fresh face, new ideas.
Sandwich. It. I don't even know what it is. It's like processed food. Just eat it or don't.
Jude.
Until we get closer to a utopian society where food labels have no meaning and all delectable dishes are treated equally, no, it is not a sandwich. We still have to stick to the current social construct.
Have baked takes. All right. If you want, we can go back to you later. Apparently, he's busy. MPU. Oh,
Yeah. I think chicken nugget is the Schrodinger's cat of food products. It is both a sandwich and not a sandwich at the same time until it identifies as one or the other.
all right. Have baked eggs.
the more perfect union. You just you keep big brain in me, and I love it. So I'm just gonna end. I'm gonna let it end there with him.
All right. CTV.
I think it's obvious from the level of discussion that we enjoyed here tonight that a chicken nugget is, in fact, a sandwich of sorts. The only thing that we have to figure out is where the change happens between a nugget and a patty. And as soon as we figure that out, right, we'll be able to pass legislation to ensure, right, chicken supremacy moving forward. There is no way that we can cede the ground to beef in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We need chicken to be the dominant meat of the 21st century, here and now and forever. And if you really believe that bullshit, you can take it on, because I'm going to go have me a big old steak after this.
The 14th Amendment precludes
That was amazing.
preferences,
Thank you.
meat preferences. I'm sorry.
All right. Before we jump into the next topic, I just want to say that I'm mad at all of you, and that I'm particularly mad at Danabo, because I think this was usually we get food topics at the end because we managed to get Frames, who is our expert. But since he wasn't there, you were allowed to spread misinformation about food like crazy. So everyone in everyone's chat, go report all of the panelists, or follow them if you want, Go check their solo content and everything. And go show some support. And also twitch.tv/Danabo. Without who this panel wouldn't happen. If you see all of the guests here today, is because they got an invite from Danabo. So go show some love to twitch.tv/Danabo. And with that being said, let's jump into the main topic. And I'm gonna have a problem with the name on that one. All right. With the scandals and revelations, including Ginny Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas' wife, exchanging text with Mark Meadows about efforts to overturn the 2020 election, and the GOP scrutiny of SCOTUS nomination Ketanji Jackson, what is the future of SCOTUS? And how did the Supreme Court become so politicized? And with that, we're going to start with half-baked takes.
All right, so this is weird. I don't know if it's gonna come off like as a conservative. Typically, now you're supposed to automatically hate any nominee that's brought as a nominee. But to be honest, I think she's gonna be a great justice. Honestly, she, as long as she preaches what she said her like political philosophy is. If she's going to maintain judicial restraint, and she values the Constitution, and she interprets these like laws the way that they're written, not the way that she wants to interpret them, it's all good. I do think it's funny that the Senate confirmed her last year, 53-44. So it seems like it's probably this is a dog and pony show, because it seems like a foregone conclusion that this woman's going to be the nominee. As for like the Supreme Court itself, like it being politicized, Democrats in the media right now, but I repeat myself, are acting like the Republicans' questioning of her like judicial record is somehow out of bounds. Dems, do remember that it was started by you, this process of like politicizing the Supreme Court when Bork got fucking railroaded just because he's a conservative back in the 80s. So I don't know. It just seems like it's a little hypocritical because of what they did to Amy Coney Barrett and what they did to Kavanaugh. But I'm not even bitching about it. I don't care about that. I think you need to put the best people on the bench that we possibly can, and this woman seems like a fabulous addition to the court.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Gaberkoff.
My cat's tweaking out in the background. I'm sorry, I gave her catnip to leave me alone. It was probably a bad decision. So the nominee, I was looking with them. I've kind of really like just stayed away from it a lot. I really like wait until things come out fully. I watch a lot of the panels and stuff like that, and I see how it goes from there. And then I research it afterwards. I'm looking it up now, and literally every time I looked it up was like, why is the GOP scrutinizing her? It's literally because she's a black woman, is what all sources are saying. If it's a Democratic source. And then you go to the GOP side of like the media, and they're like, oh, well, she's a pedo sympathizer, or she's soft on pedos, and then like she's not hard on these people, but she is hard on these. And it's like, well, it's a case by case basis. I get that. And so we don't know all the cases she's handled from like the exact textbook of what they happened. So I get that. But like Half Baked Take says, if she's preaching what she's preaching and she's actually going to follow through with it, then yes. But we know from experience that most politicians don't do that. All of them say that they're going to do something and then never do it. And I feel like it's politicized lots because of that reason. Then also because in any standpoint, the Democrats and the Republicans are also always at each other's throats, no matter what it is, any election. And so, like you said, they're trying to make it pushed in the media now because it's a heavy hit and people are like flocking to it. So they're just going to keep pushing this issue and keep mass mediaizing it because everyone's covering it and everyone loves it. So why not keep pushing out more information to make everyone either be biased towards it or not biased and want it this way, want it that way. And we can see people fight over it. That's what they're trying to see, is they want us to sit here and just literally fight over everything that we possibly can. So when you look up a source and you find 10 sources, 3 of them are Democratic, 3 of them are Republican, and then the rest are like half and half, like within the articles. It's like, how do you get any truth from anything? Like everything is so biased at this point because of the politicization within the media anyways.
All right, Gremlo.
Yeah, I'm not like overly thrilled about this person. They don't seem to really have any like really like heavy slants as far as their ideology goes. It's pretty much a lock that she's going to get the nomination. I mean, Half Baked Takes is correct. The Senate already confirmed her for a lower court position last year, maybe a little bit longer. So this kind of inflammatory rhetoric and stuff we're seeing in the hearing is simply to manufacture a narrative, and they got what they wanted. You know, Graham, Cruz, Holly, they all got their clips on Fox News that night and the week before or the week afterwards. So it doesn't really matter. We're probably going to hear a couple things like Kay was saying, soft on CP, can't name what a woman is. These staples of the hearings is probably what we're going to discuss tonight. I don't think we can really say that her record is outside of bounds of acceptability or she's unqualified. She seems to be pretty qualified to me. That's really my take.
All right. Tarek, Gunto.
Excuse me. Sure. As far as the nominee herself goes, I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up a ton with her. I did a little bit of research on her before we started the debate, and I got to say, I'm with Gremlo on most of these points. She doesn't really stick out a whole lot to me. She just seems like kind of a Democrat stand-in. But, being of personally leftist leanings, I think it's better than having a right-leaning person in there. I think they made the right decision by having, I don't even remember his name, whoever it was, resign. That shows you how much I've been following this. And not make the same mistake that we did during the Obama administration where, oh God, I'm sorry, ADHD is kicking in bad. Our other person didn't resign. I really should remember her name. I'm so bad at names. I'm sorry. I'm doing so good. So I guess, I'm not super impressed. RBG, thank you, John. I'm not super impressed with her, but I'm also like not against her. Like I'm just kind of neutral on it. But as far as like the politicization of the Supreme Court, I personally don't understand what is meant by that. The Supreme Court is one of three branches in the most powerful government in the entire world. So what are we talking about when we say the politicization of this position? Is it not like every other government position where we heavily politicize it, where it's like, where it's like we just want somebody in there who's going to go after the political outcomes that we want? Like, yeah, of course it's politicized, and I'm fine with it being politicized. It's forever and always going to be politicized because that's just how government works. Everything is political. So I don't, unless I'm misunderstanding something, like that wording is a little bit odd to me. That's all.
All right. CTV.
Ketanji Jackson's record shows that she's had quite a few cases that have been overturned by other judges, right? It was already been said by Biden that one of the things that he was going to be basing his pick off of was, in fact, and I want to make sure I quote the story here correctly. Biden last week promised to choose his Supreme Court nominee based on her race and sex. I don't feel like that these are qualifying things for someone to be a Supreme Court justice. I don't care what's between your legs, and I don't care what color your skin is. What I care about is how you rule as a judge, right? And if you are making decisions that then later have to be overturned by other judges, well, that kind of lets me know that you didn't know something ahead of time so that you had the ruling right to begin with and you wasted all these other people's time, or you just purposefully fumbled the football. Either one doesn't look good on you if you're a judge, right? So I feel like without knowing the vast number of judges that are possible for the position, I just feel like this offering is leaving something lacking to what I would want on the Supreme Court. That's me.
All right. Fresh face, new ideas.
She is incredibly well qualified. She is one of the most qualified candidates we've ever had, just based on her overall experience and the breadth of her work. A lot of the attacks on her have been kind of nonsense, especially like the Lindsey Graham types who have previously, as people have mentioned, voted for her in the past, not so long ago. The Josh Hawley stuff with the child stuff, some of the quotes in his big opening Twitter thread are directly things that she has said, taken directly out of context, to make no sense. A lot of these attacks are nonsense. The thing to remember with this one especially is she's not actually changing anything on the court. It remains a 6-3 conservative, hard conservative majority. Unless something happens with Clarence Thomas, like the beginning of this question stated, which something at the very least should happen. He has a long history of ignoring the conflicts of interest that his wife has in the cases that he rules over, and he's had a history of doing some other questionable things that have happened. So that is more when a question happens, is if it's the possibility of trying to shift the court back in a more left-leaning direction, that would make a big difference. I think she is incredibly qualified. I think a lot of what happened here is a dog and pony show to get quotes. It is to build up the midterm ideology. You can see it from they started at the top, and it has trickled down the talking points. They're mostly incredibly disgusting, if not utterly dishonest. Essentially anything Ted Cruz says is that way. But and as for the politicization of the court, Alex is right. It's incredibly, but not to consider this court non-political. It is a political position with a lifetime appointment that has never had a person removed and only had one person ever impeached. It is essentially the most powerful part of our government that if you have the majority in it, you have essential sway over every type of legislation written throughout the entirety of the country at any point for something like a 30-year period. To pretend that that's not political is living with your head in the sand.
All right. Jude?
Yeah, so going back to Alex's point, as far as the politicization of it, the whole point with the court is that it's supposed to not be politicized. That's the whole idea with the Lady Justice is blind, balancing out the scales sort of point behind it. KBJ's issues and Thomas's wife aside, I think you would have to go back to the Obama administration and how they dropped the ball after listening to really bad advice, some would say, from Rahm Emanuel. They didn't fight to get Merrick Garland on to any real extent. They didn't really stay on top of the federal court justices that they just completely slept on. And then you've got during the Trump administration where McConnell saw a grand opportunity. He railroaded in a whole mess of people, and they've kind of set the stage moving forward. It's going to make passing any legislation at the federal level very difficult because the ability to have politicized, arguably biased people being able to step in and say that something is or isn't constitutional could completely smack down anything that you end up getting passed, which is hard to do in this environment because you've got a razor-tight margin in Congress. So yeah, you'd have to look at how we kind of got here, and that's through the Obama and Trump administrations. Anyway.
All right. More perfect union.
I'm going to try to bring a little bit of rational thought here to this conversation. The cases, people talk about the Supreme Court being overly political or politicized. It is more politicized since 1900 than it was beforehand because as Judge Robert Bork said in his confirmation hearing, which was ultimately unsuccessful for him, was that the reason why the court is more political in the present times versus the old times is that most of the stuff that was done before 1900 was all based on English or old canon law, common law. And that as the government begins to expand, it gets larger, gets bigger, it becomes more intrusive. The types of cases that the Supreme Court is taking.
What the fuck?
Can nobody hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Because the way that the court is looking at now, there are significant interpretive effects that are applied to various things. Most of the things that the left likes today are all derivative of some form of interpretation against the Commerce Clause. Commerce Clause, in a strict interpretive sense, doesn't mean do what the things it's supposed to do, right? The Constitution says provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and the left seems to think that promote and provide are synonymous words, but the founders used very discrete words with very distinct meanings at the time. Now, we can talk about whether or not the Constitution is dated, needs to be updated, refreshed, or whatever, right? The founders gave us a process for doing that. The reason why it is so difficult to do is because they thought or expected that there would be a significant consensus majority within the population and within the legislature, the Congress, and the president, that people would come on board and they would look for things that they could consensus arrive at. These are the appropriate things for direction. What we have today, and I'm gonna close it in here to what's going on in particular with Ketanji Brown.
I still can't hear. What the fuck?
What we have going on here with Ketanji Brown situation is that she is a person with limited experience. She said that she doesn't have, or she has a made up or her own crafted version of her judicial philosophy, but her judicial philosophy is literally first semester law school, IRAC, right? Which is identify, review, apply, and then conclude. That's what she literally said in her meeting. She didn't say anything about anything else. She has, to CTV, what he was saying, she has just on her appeals court, the 1 year she spent in the appeals court, she had 11% of her cases that were overturned. Her opinions were overturned by the Supreme Court. Okay? That puts her in the bottom 33 for all of the 21 judges in the in the First Circuit appeals court. So, and to be honest, when the federal sentencing guidelines for this child pornography case say add 9 to 10 years, the prosecutors deviated from that. They said 2 years, and she gives 3 months, essentially time served for the person. Okay, you can legitimately question what the departure, what the deviation there is, right? So aside from the fact that the politicians are using the Supreme Court to argue back and forth in this modern age of all the bullshit that we have for like Twitch, Twitter, and getting in front of cameras on TV, yeah, that's true. If you look at the rulings for the court itself they try to take a narrow approach based on judicial philosophy. Now, if you don't like Clarence Thomas, you don't like Gorsuch, you don't like Amy Coney Barrett, you don't like original intent, or they say that the Constitution has this way, they rule that way. Congress is free to change their jurisdictional limits within the power of the Constitution, okay? It's not as political as you think. I think, thank you very much, Geek. I think she's going to get approved. I think elections have consequences. I think she is not going to be a very middle of the road judge. I think a couple of people said they thought she would. She said she's going to do X, and we can trust her. No, you can't. You can't trust any judge appointed by any leftist. You can't. They are not going to rule according to the Constitution. And with that, I'm willing to take all the slings and arrows you guys can sling, because I've been reviewing this shit pretty hard for the last couple of weeks.
All right. And with that, I think everyone did the intro. So with the scandals and revelation about efforts to overturn the 2020 election and the GOP scrutiny of SCOTUS nomination Ketanji Jackson, what is the future of SCOTUS, and how did the Supreme Court become so politicized? The floor is yours.
I would just like to, since I didn't brush up on it, if you don't mind, Jude, since I didn't really address this 2020 election topic, it's no surprise to me that Republicans will be trying to, question results of an election or try to like undo the results of it or whatever it is. I mean, this has been the Republican Party's, main staple policy. Paul Weyrich, just said this in 1986, so it's no really surprise to me. I just forgot to mention this in my opening.
What about 2000?
Excellent point.
What about 2016?
What about 2016?
You had multiple members of the House of Representatives challenge the results of the day that they do the certifications.
And all of
The
them
only
were
reason
thrown
they
out
didn't
of
go
court
any
for
further
lack
is
of
they couldn't
evidence.
find.
You can challenge.
Yeah, you can challenge, but all of them were thrown out for lack of evidence.
Yeah, and eventually.
No.
they did
2016, not 2020. 2020.
Oh,
If you look,
2016.
we can have a discussion about the reasons why the cases in 2020 were rejected, but the vast majority didn't have a damn thing to do with merits. They were all the vast majority of the cases that were thrown out because of an English legal concept called latches, which means they were not filed in a timely manner. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but-
don't for
election
people.
fraud
but
theory
even
just
the
dropped,
ones
boys.
that didn't do that,
No.
they got tossed out because they were frivolous. The judges.
No. There were some cases.
No,
There were
over
some cases that
20.
were thrown out that were
You're talking
frivolous.
about
The
that
vast
were
majority of the
fucking
cases
thrown
were
out.
dismissed for latches.
And most of
Look
them
it
were
up.
fucking Trump-appointed judges.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
it's
matter.
fucking
No.
grand
Look,
conspiracy out
okay.
here, but it doesn't
hang on.
matter.
No. Hang on. Do you think that there's a difference between arguing a case on getting a case argued on its merits, or do you think that you could be thrown out for that if it's thrown out on a technicality,
Why are we talking
that
about
doesn't mean there was any merit, right?
Out of curiosity, why are we even talking about like the 2020 election right now? Can we get back to the fucking SCOTUS? So
I think the question
I
the
was going
question
to
was
ask you-
componentized against the
Okay.
2020 election and the politicization of the Supreme Court.
no,
Was it not?
I don't-
I think it was a fair.
Okay.
Yeah,
Real quick.
it's fair. It's fair that
French.
we're talking about it.
Okay.
I just want to throw to afraid to Jude and to get away from like 2020 election and stuff like that. So Jude, go ahead.
Though I was gonna comment on what he was saying though. Because this being the COVID age, there was a lot of those hearings that were actually available that you could sit and listen to the whole thing, sometimes in real time online. And most of those trials that made it that far into court, as soon as it got to the point where the judge said, "Okay, give me what you got," to the person that brought the case forward, a lot of them fell flat on their face. Like, it wasn't a situation of, well, the only ones that didn't make it weren't filed properly or things of that nature. They didn't have any standing. A lot of times, a lot of the
Okay.
a
56,
lot of the,
56
Go ahead,
cases
go ahead.
out of 62 cases were dismissed for latches.
Okay.
The overwhelming majority of cases were dismissed not for standing, not for merits. They were dismissed because of timeliness of filing.
Perfect union. You said that the court isn't as politicized as like people think, and I would tend to agree.
And it's practical work, right? I mean, the getting in and getting before the court, the Senate and stuff like that. That shit is hyper partisan.
Okay, that's my point.
Like from the judges
That
as
is
well.
the nomination process,
Mhm.
which is arguably the most important because they're getting a fucking lifetime appointment. So you got to make sure you do this correct. There's no coming back on this. So I would agree with you that it's not that politicized once they actually get onto the bench, because a vast majority of cases that get brought before the Supreme Court end up getting a unanimous decision.
The vast majority, yeah.
Yes, not all, obviously, but vast majority. The thing is the ones you hear about are the disputed ones, the ones that end up being 5-4, or have a chance of, having drastic changes. So I don't know. It just seems like there has to be this distinction drawn between those two things, and then I think we can talk, because that has such a drastic effect on the future of the court too, because you see Democrats trying to pack it. So
yeah, I think if I could throw one question out for the lefties to consider, just to kind of propel the conversation forward.
Listen,
the idea that people think that if you put a conservative, or GOP puts a conservative person on the court, that's somehow going to be judicial activism. But isn't it really true that when Ruth Bader Ginsburg got on, when not David Souter, but when Stephen Breyer, Sotomayor, Kagan, when these people were brought on, right? The argument that was posited by the left was that these people need to bring their experience, their life experience, to sort of level set the table, that they were going to take that experience, and they were going to apply the Constitution in a living way.
Yeah, that'd
right.
be nice.
The left
problem, but the
problem of this
is not the problem that when we look and say that the people that are left-leaning who are appointed to the court tend to be more activist, meaning they want to remake the country in the way that they personally see it, or the way that they can contort or cause the Constitution be done. And the right one, let me just finish the right piece, and then I'll shut up. And then the people who are on the conservative side, if they say that they are for interpreting the Constitution as it was written or as it was legislatively intended, the laws applied to the Constitution, that by doing that, they are forcing Congress to correct a defect. If the Supreme Court says you can't do that, there is nothing in the Constitution that precludes the Congress from correcting that. But they don't, because it's too difficult to do. It's difficult to pass an amendment, and they would rather have the issue to fight over, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I mean, it'd be cool if we actually had like leftist Supreme Court nominations. I mean, that'd be pretty sick, in my opinion. I come from the position that I don't really care too much about the Supreme Court or care for it too much. Also, don't really give a shit about the Constitution. But I mean, I don't know what this activist judges thing is. I don't know who we're talking about.
So, and I would like to add to that real quick. Okay. So why is it that life experience, I don't know what you mean by the whole activism thing. Where I thought you were going with this is like, well, you're expected to bring your life experience into it, and it's I don't know how old she is, but like, absolutely not. I thought you were going to make an age argument, and then it kind of took a turn. I don't know what you mean by the activism thing either. Like, and on top of that, let's say that whatever it is that you're talking about, can your age and your experience not lead to your activism? I mean, that certainly happened in the case of Bernie Sanders. So, like, I don't understand where you're going with that.
I think
Bernie Sanders would ever be on the Supreme Court?
There's definitely some NPU translation here. Okay, he was referencing history, right, and how over time the things become more politicized. Okay. When he was talking about earlier, whenever he put that, the bringing of the life experience, that was the argument used to justify the diversity based upon background, ethnicity, etc., right? For why these people were being put into the positions to bring their life experience to the court, right? As far as their decision-making process is concerned. Whereas on the conservative side or Republican side of things, it's all based upon merit and the being a textualist, right? Not trying to legislate from the bench, right? And say, well, this is what the law means, so here it goes, right? But what does the law say? If the law is in fact unconstitutional, striking it down and forcing the Congress to do their job to write the law in such a way to where it is not so it's not unconstitutional. Right. So there might need to be some changes made to the law in order for it to actually follow the Constitution. But anytime that there's judicial review, the Constitution always wins.
All right. I want to Fred to have big take, and after that, sorry, Jude.
So really quick, Alec, I got to ask you, like, do you just do you really not understand that judges are they are meant to be apolitical? They are supposed to be given a piece of text.
Okay, go ahead.
They're supposed to be given a piece of text, legislation, by the legislature, and that piece of text is the law.
Tell me, do you believe in the rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness?
I absolutely do.
What do you mean by that?
That's not the Constitution. That's in the.
Well, I know it's not, but this is important. This is important for my argument. What do you mean, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? When I say that, I can tell you what I mean.
You don't have I have security for my person, my property, and nobody can impede my. Nobody can infringe upon my rights.
Okay, so my interpretation is if you have the right to life, that means that you have the right to certain minimal expectations that will lead to you living a happy and fulfilling life. For me,
That's
that
not
means a
true.
minimal amount of livable.
That's not what that means
Just
at
hold
all.
on.
Talking about interpretation.
Hold on.
Wait.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Where are we?
Okay.
Yeah,
You
but
understand my
look,
point.
I gotta
No,
go-
no.
Hold on. I'm not
Alex,
done.
railroaded
You
off my
understand that
point.
even within this very basic, this very basic
Can't
framework
reference
of
the
rights.
Declaration of Independence.
I'm
Listen.
sorry, I'm going to start muting people. I want Alec to be able to finish his point, and after that,
Thank
you'll all be able to answer.
It's not fucking founded, geek. That's the whole point.
You
That's why
can
people
address
try to
that
found it.
later.
The Declaration of Independence is not a part of the government.
CTV.
You
Okay,
can't.
I know, but he did interrupt me.
What?
I'm just like, listen. CTV,
All right, I'm
he
going to mute
interrupted me. I
people.
do
Sorry,
wanna get
I'm sorry. Alec, finish your point. Go.
Okay. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because and I understand what you're saying. It's not law, okay? But we do have to interpret these things. If you do believe in those rights for us as Americans, you have to be able to interpret those. And our judges are tasked with that. They are tasked with interpreting laws. So for the First Amendment, for example, you have to decide, okay, can I wave a Nazi flag at a protest? Is that a First Amendment protected right? And the judges are tasked with interpreting the law. If you interpret the law such that free speech means that you can wave the Nazi flag, or you can interpret the law saying that, like, well, actually waving a Nazi flag is declaring death to some people. So no, that's not protected. You have to be able to make that distinction. The judges are not just given a list of rules and saying, well, we're going to follow that rule. No, they have to interpret it. That's what their job is. So we want people with leftist leanings in there so that they can interpret it in a leftist capacity.
No. You're misunderstanding the interpretation. It's not the person's interpretation. They're interpreting what the people who wrote the legislation meant.
That was 300 years ago. They wrote that 300 years ago.
They write new fucking laws, Alec. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's really hard when
this
you
is-
have a
all right,
conservative government.
So we've had a conservative. Okay, never mind.
We
Sorry.
have.
I want to Fred to judge.
So going back to MPU's, progressive activists are trying to reshape the world, and conservatives are just trying to preserve. Well, that's kind of the point too, is that they're trying to preserve basically an era where men wore powdered wigs and had wooden teeth. Some of that shit just doesn't flat out apply. Well, to the extent that you're talking about.
You are mischaracterizing what
original
textualism is.
Contextualism is silly. Yes, it is.
It's not.
This might be
the idea.
What we have is a difference of opinion, okay? And you can't say that it's silly. It's silly to you, but it is a pragmatic approach to understanding where the law should have practical limits. Remember, the Constitution confers rights on the government, okay? And it confers it identifies the basic freedoms and creates a limited set of rights for the federal government. The government was never founded on the premise that the government was there to entitle you to a life. For example, a certain minimum level of existence. That was not what they did. Let me finish my point.
I never got to make mine. I raised my little hand.
I defer to you. Go ahead.
I waited. So, but my point is, when you're talking about diversity, the idea is you want different people, not necessarily, I'll agree with CTV to an extent, not necessarily because of color, creed, etc. But you definitely want people from different slices and different walks of life so that they have a little bit different of a spin to see how these laws affect people, and then apply that to what's written in the Constitution and what's written in the different books and things that leading up to that point. Because like the things we have now, you can't say that, well, they definitely planned for all of this going back to what the founders intended. And last thing, to what CTV said, I think, yes, okay, it's supposed to be that they're on the merits and they say whether something is constitutional or not. But there's a lot of ground there to essentially take like an Environmental Protections Agency law that they placed to say, like, you should bring pollutants down 40% over a certain amount of time. And then the Supreme Court can sit there and turn around and say, well, but because they didn't name a very specific chemical, that essentially that law doesn't apply to a polluter at that point, right? There's areas where they can still take their own certain interests and then move forward with it and shit on legislation that gets passed to the extent where you would never be able to pass a regulation ever again.
Okay, so at what point does the people, right, that make the law, that get elected by the people who are the government, right? The people that elect those people make the law, and then the people that get put in to rule over whether or not the law is constitutional, and the Constitution, who is the people, is supposed to win, right? Whenever you decide, well, the Constitution is just it's an idea over here, but whatever, we've got something else on our agenda. That's whenever you separate it being a government of, by, and for the people, and now it being the government is tyranny over the people. This is exactly the flawed mindset that leads you to believe that the Constitution written, or the law written as it is, needs to be read as it is without putting any type of interpretation on it, right? The whole reason for judicial review, right, that was established in Marbury versus Madison, is so that the court can actually go over whether or not the law breaks the Constitution.
Real quick, first of all, Fresh Face, you're getting a lot of noise from your mic. And once you fix that, I will get it back to you. MPU, go.
Yeah, so I think the biggest quip here is that there are really two basic competing ideologies about what the Supreme Court is and what interpretive law should be. There are people who, there's a school of thought that says the Constitution should be ever evolving, and we should be free to change terms or approaches based on whatever the events of the day are, and that we need to be able to do that in a faster way than we can using the Article 5 process. The other side of the process, the one that was actually written into the Constitution, says we should work in very broad ways. We should generally try to find consensus among well-intentioned individuals, and we should try to do what we can in the sake of the best interest of the nation moving forward. And therefore, it is more likely that we would strike down laws. We would find laws that would be passed. As Judge Bork said, again, in his confirmation hearing, there was no constitutional prohibition against Congress making stupid laws. Okay, so Congress can make stupid laws. The Supreme Court can find them unconstitutional. It doesn't preclude the Congress and the president from going back to correct whatever the deficiency is, or limit the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court if that's their big check, right? The pay of judges and jurisdiction, limiting it original jurisdiction, or Article 5, the state legislatures pulling up and doing a convention of states. There are Article 5 solutions for these things. And I think the difference between the two philosophies is really that people on the left generally tend to prefer the former, and people on the right, original intent or textualists, they tend to prefer the latter.
I want to throw it back to Fresh Face, and after that, I want to open it a little.
It's working. I was having a lot of issues with Discord. It took me a while. But yeah, look, the original intent stuff is not something I'm well versed in enough to have an argument. My current standing, especially with this course, my current issue is they're not even consistent in their shadow docket in the way that they're using things for some of the voting rights stuff that they're shooting down. It is clear that, like, with this majority, the idea that they're going to overturn laws could then be placed again. It makes sense because there are laws that we kind of need to have the Supreme Court way, because to put them on the actual books is kind of absurd, because they're just like given at this point. The fear now is that some of these laws that we consider are super precedent are no longer going to be considered that way, and they have the ability to be removed. Most notably, it's going to be Roe v. Wade, which I'm relatively certain Barrett was asked about whether it was super precedent. I don't remember if Kavanaugh was asked about that, and I honestly don't remember almost anything of Gorsuch's hearings to mention that. But that's on the bucket. During these hearings, we also heard them talking about Oglesfeld. We heard Mike Braun talk about interracial marriage as potentially something that could be overturned by the Supreme Court. And I think that's something that we need to worry about when we talk about a politicized court, is just these cultural norms that we've...
You really think that interracial marriage is at threat?
I would
The
put
question was
past it.
raised.
The fact, I think the fact that it's a. I think
it
it's
was
a fact
found.
that it's only-
It was
Wait,
found.
wait,
It
wait.
was found protected under the
Sorry.
14th Amendment.
Yeah,
It's not
I don't
going to
think
be
that's just going to get
overruled.
overturned.
Jesus
But the
Christ.
question was raised.
The question
Like,
was
it
for
is,
Fresh Face. I
It
would
can
like
be
to hear.
That's a stupid fucking question. That's not.
And just because it gets raised doesn't mean it's automatically.
It does
I'm
show
not- I
an
wasn't
ideology. It shows a
saying that it
narrative
was one of the
crafting.
ones
In
that
all
I'm
seriousness,
worried about.
no, not in the short-term future. No.
Yeah, no.
I don't expect that's not the one I'm more worried about. I'm worried about them now starting to take shots at Oglesfeld. That's the one that I'm more worried about because we've seen it and we can see it on the ground movement from that. And the same way that we see it with Roe v. Wade, it starts with a whole bunch of different shots at it to see where they can put the hole in.
Well, you know that the vast majority of Roe was overturned, right, by Casey.
Yeah, you do know that Roe was a dog shit decision, right? Just like on a judicial level, it was just bad. It just
It
bad.
was kind of opinionated.
Why?
Because nowhere in the Constitution do you have to say that you have
Generalized
a
right to privacy.
abortion. To say that you have a right to abortion under the Constitution by saying it's the right to privacy. That's just. I'm sorry. That's just bad interpretation of the Constitution.
Do you have the right to not be enslaved?
Sure.
Not under
Yes,
the 13th
but
Amendment.
That is the 13th Amendment.
How are you going to compare
Okay, but the 13th
abortion
Amendment
to
What
was
are you
not
slavery?
doing
originally
right now?
written in
I
there.
hope-
So before the
How
13th
are you
Amendment
going
came
to-
out,
Yeah.
did humans not have the right to be enslaved?
Answer the question. Right?
What
And
was
the
the question?
question is, how are you going to compare abortion, which is a medical procedure,
I'm not comparing.
to slavery?
I'm not comparing. I'm asking
You
a very
are.
simple question. No, I'm not. I
You're
asked,
making a
do you have?
comparison.
No, we're talking about rights right now. We're talking about what you
You're
have the right to.
comparing
What-
a medical procedure to slavery. Explain.
You are very much
says explicitly.
Very
misrepresenting
heated.
my argument.
It
What I
says-
said was, his argument was you do not have the right to an abortion. My argument was you only have the right to not be enslaved unless you commit a criminal offense because of the 13th Amendment. Before the 13th Amendment,
How
you
is
did not have that
even
right.
relevant?
What?
That's relevant
Autonomy.
because
There is
you can't
not a-
always
there's not a
defer back
passage-
to the Constitution for what you believe is a right or not a right.
Are you
No,
serious?
is
no,
not.
no, 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 no.
Are we
no,
Look,
no,
debating
no,
a
no,
moderator
no.
right now?
Look, I'm trying to look.
Please.
I'm trying not to like lose my ever loving shit here right now. Okay,
I can tell.
You said medical procedure, abortion over here, right?
Equals slavery.
over here.
Yeah,
What
it's about
the fuck is
autonomy.
wrong with
Argument.
you?
He was,
About
he was
autonomy.
trying to say none of this matters. It fucking says
know, okay.
explicitly in the Constitution, fucking you can't be enslaved. And then guess what?
Unless you commit a crime.
Because of the 13th
Who
Amendment.
cares?
Yeah,
Guess
that's
It
what
doesn't
people-
say
that's
you have
the
the right to
case.
an
Leftists
abortion.
Wait, wait, wait.
How
claim,
is
right?
abortion slavery?
CTV.
I made my
It does
case
not say
already.
you
If
have the
you would
right
like
to
me
an
to
abortion.
repeat it, I can.
It does
There's
not
no
anywhere.
I
in
want
there
to hear-
matter.
Please say that the word
No,
abortion.
I get what Half Baked takes. Half Baked Take is literally saying that like nowhere in the Constitution does it have anything about women's reproductive rights and that abortion's
Correct.
in there. So you're stating that slavery is in the Constitution, but he's stating that it doesn't matter because that's not the point he's making. The point he's making is that we had this case about abortion that isn't even anywhere in the Constitution.
Correct. But the
But
only
even
reason
then-
that we
even
have
then originally-
slavery
I didn't even
written
tell you what my
into the
opinion on it was.
Yeah, he didn't even get to that
I didn't
point. You
even
literally
tell-
were just
I'm
like
pro- I'm
slavery. We were like,
Dude, I'm pro-choice, but guess what? That doesn't mean it can't. Roe versus Wade isn't dog
But
shit.
my
fucking
point
a
is
decision.
that we can simply write new laws into the Constitution. So referring back to the Constitution to
write
say
new
we
laws.
don't have a constitutional right to that, I get that.
Then
You're
they
right.
need
you can
to
write new
write
laws. You
that
can't write
law.
new rights.
They
Well,
need to
no,
write
well,
that
okay.
As
amendment.
easily,
They need
like-
to-
There's
they
a,
need
okay,
to
there's
pass
a,
that
piece,
amendment.
there's
Okay.
a piece of the argument you guys are missing, right? The Constitution, read the Ninth Amendment, right? Not every right that exists to human beings in this country comes from the Constitution, right? Anything
but
that
they
is
can be
not
changed.
explicitly delineated is presumed to be reserved already, meaning it exists. Okay, the fact that we have gone through and we have defined certain things by legal fiat or judicial fiat is just clarification of a thing to exist, right? Obergefell, nobody's going to go after Obergefell, even though there were 4 justices that went against it, right? Nobody's going to go back and nobody is going to argue that people shouldn't be able to marry whom they want to marry. It's just, that's stupid. It's specious. The cart is long out of the gate.
real quick.
Wait,
I want to throw it to Judd, and after that, open it.
And nobody should, and I would be in the front of the
Wait,
line.
Judd,
voting
okay, yeah,
against
Judd,
it,
that would be a
right?
better way of framing that. No one should.
I forget which justice it was, but there was a justice that specifically gave a long-winded speech, I think during 2020, that basically said that they were considering Overfell a mistake and that it should be re-looked at. And if you know how a lot of those processes work for getting a case in front of the Supreme Court, they work backwards from whatever they think the judges will end up doing. A lot of times big money interests actually fund the search to try to find the case, and then they boost it all the way as far as they can go up to the Supreme Court. So that's
Yeah, they manufacture cases with the specific intent to get before the court. I get that, right? That they do it, and they do it on both sides, right?
So
They do it on both sides.
I believe what Alex's point was, or what he was trying to say, was that you have certain things that are not rights at all until they are, right? To say that slavery isn't protected, or that it's been protected in the Constitution, we didn't start off that way. The point was we saw something that was wrong,
we didn't start off
and we
that way.
fixed it.
No, we didn't start off.
Wait,
it did start off that way. The Connecticut Compromise wrote slavery into the Constitution until the importation of slaves until 1808. Yes, it sure was, because it was the only way they could get the southern states to sign on to the fucking thing. Okay?
Yeah, so it didn't exist initially.
What I'm saying is protection against
that's not.
slavery
Look, that's
did
not.
exist.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying slavery didn't exist. I'm saying the protection against it didn't exist.
And I want to
not be enslaved didn't exist.
The protection against slavery, involuntary servitude, right, is actually how it's termed, wasn't put together until 1866, 1865.
Exactly. So it wasn't originally in the Constitution. That's the point.
I want to go back real quick to what Half Baked said. I want to make sure that I'm not misinterpreting your argument, because that's not what I'm trying to do. So I interpreted your argument as we do not have a constitutional right to abortion, therefore you don't get an abortion unless like the states say that you get it. And I understand that right now that's the way that works. I thought that you were saying,
well, it works the other way.
That we don't
now.
That we don't fundamentally
cut him off.
Like, did I cut him off? I'm sorry if I did that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
He immediately mentioned it, and you immediately were like slavery, and then he didn't even get to finish off what his original point of the topic was.
I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. I'll be more careful.
You're good. And like the whole issue I have with this is, not everything needs to be like explicitly stated. There are a lot of rights that are, that we interpret, or a lot of words that are, or a lot of ideas that are kind of thrust onto the Constitution that aren't exactly in there. However, the issue with Roe is that you're saying that you have the right to an abortion under the right to privacy, and that that specifically doesn't follow. And my point is that if you want to concretely make it a right, then you have to pass an amendment that.
No, you don't. No, you don't even have to do that. Congress could pass a law that could make abortion federally viable and legal. It does not require a constitutional amendment.
Okay,
but that's the point about having the Supreme Court set up the way that it's ending up being set up. Is that if you pass that law, they're just going to say that it's unconstitutional.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
It back down.
More perfect union. You would agree that they would shoot that down, right?
No, that you could. Look. Everybody thinks that just because the Supreme Court strikes down a law, that somehow means that Congress can't intervene in that space. That's absolutely fucking ridiculous. All Congress needs to do is read the fucking text of the response from the Supreme Court, and they go back and craft a law that comports with the Constitution.
No. Rights not delegated to the federal government. It's a states' rights issue. It gets left to the states. So
a lot of people make the argument that Roe was improperly decided because of the aspect of saying a guaranteed abortion, because of a generalized right of privacy. Okay, there is a significant school of legal thought that says that was malformed, just like Plessy versus Ferguson. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the Supreme Court gets shit wrong all the fucking time. Okay, but people have to come back around and either revisit that, create another case. Jude, to your point, right? They go judge shopping or case shopping to get a specific case before the Supreme Court, or Congress makes a law that otherwise comports or specifically defines a medical procedure as being permissible at the federal level. Most people who are against Roe aren't purely against abortion. They are against the federal government mandating it as a function of privacy, and they want the states to reserve the right. So if Alabama and their citizenry doesn't want one, they don't have to be forced to have one. And here's the other side of it with the Affordable Care Act. When the Affordable Care Act says these medical procedures are permissible, and one of the reasons why a lot of people on the right push back against it is because now you're talking about taxpayer funding for abortion, and some people have massive religious objections to it, and then you run into a First Amendment problem, right? Those are the complexities that exist with the Supreme Court.
We've already determined that federal money can't go towards abortion procedures, though.
Right, and yet every
Plus,
time
people are
there's a
huge
funding
liars,
decision
so-
that comes through, they try to pull out the Hyde Amendment, right? Democrats try to pull out the Hyde Amendment.
But they haven't done it yet, right? And that's the protection that we have. And
That's a pretty thin thread.
Did I miss something, or was the term forced to have an abortion used? I just want to make sure I wasn't mishearing.
Wait,
I didn't hear that.
No? Okay.
No, nobody's advocating.
Okay, sorry, I must have misheard you. My mistake.
Not to.
Yeah,
we're just talking about the weak legal grounds that Roe has. Now, Casey basically destroyed the vast majority of Roe and instantiated the construct of limits on when, right, up to what point that you could have an abortion.
This court reaffirmed fucking Planned Parenthood. So I don't know, I don't know why lefties and Democrats think that this court is an existential threat to abortion or
because of what's happening in Texas. The case was brought up to the Supreme Court and they ignored it. Right?
Well, they refused to enjoin it. The case is still moving forward, right? It's going to work its way through the courts.
I promise.
Right. Just in the meantime, a bunch of people are, getting fucked over.
Right.
Are they getting fucked over?
I would expect them to.
Really?
Yeah, I would expect them.
I think they had to get fucked before they got fucked over.
Wait,
right?
Who's getting fucked over?
He's talking about people who are seeking abortions.
The abortion clinics in the surrounding states is a pretty good reason to say that not pausing this law is causing problems.
If they got rid of Roe, that doesn't mean abortion is illegal. It just means that your state gets to choose. And guess what? There's nothing stopping you from driving a couple 100 miles.
Yeah, except for
I also am a female, so I
hate to be the guy with the worst take on the panel. I mean,
wait, French.
All
right, Kay, go.
Or also, there's other ways of not getting pregnant, not being in this situation. Obviously, there's some extreme circumstances that obviously occur, and I understand those, but we have to take those by a case-by-case basis. And if that happens, I'm sure there's a way you can find it out. There's a point in time where now we're just using this as a birth control option, and that's why it's becoming illegal. And that's why they're trying to put so much regulations on it so that it doesn't keep happening like this, because people are damaging their body and the world around them by making this such a okay thing to do. So why don't we stop normalizing
people's bodies, and you would make it legal and easy to access?
I want Kay to finish up.
Normalizing it is
there are people whose health is
people.
irreparably harmed through the result of being given.
I want Kay to finish her point. Sorry.
He's on the right path. The abortions damage your body completely. They completely tear apart your body and your reproductive system.
Not true.
It does cause trauma to your body. Same way as yes, birth control does the same thing, but less of
abortions
that.
Are a pill.
Yes, but you're still harming your body. You're still forcing a being out of your body and damaging your reproductive organs in this process. There's other ways.
Those
just a heavy flow period. Let me just give you a chemical and kill a being in your body. That's not going to kill you or harm to your body. Are you crazy? You don't think absorbing it into your body is not harming you in some way, shape, or form?
That's
Grandma,
all
something
right,
working at
actually,
the moment.
with that,
Chemical-
sorry. No, we're going to go into closing statement, and I'm going to start with you. I have big takes. So yeah, let's
we've
go.
long past Supreme nominations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting in the weeds.
Anyway, I'm just gonna real quick. KBJ, as she will be known for like the next 30 years. I'm gonna run down some pros really quick. She got a long history of public defense and public service. Gotta love that. She served as a law clerk to 3 federal judges. That's great. She's a member, or she's on the Council of American Law Institute. Editor. She was the editor of the Harvard Law Review. She preaches judicial restraint. Hopefully, she'll practice it. She seems to value the Constitution. And then, like, the cons for her is she had 7 cases where she was light on child porn cases. I'm all against. I fuck child porn or anybody involved with that, but Jesus Christ, it seems like she's as qualified as anybody could be. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to throw it to MPU.
So KBJ is she's light on her experience. She's been overruled a great deal, even on her circuit court opinions. That she's only been there for a year. Her appellate court decisions that she's only been there for a year. She will be an extreme activist in the just like Sotomayor is, in my opinion. But that said, elections have consequences, right? And she'll be confirmed because Joe Biden wanted a black woman on the Supreme Court. And I think she is going to have a difficult time outliving the stain that affirmative action type approach gives her. Okay? She may be qualified. She may do a good job. She may do, and according to my philosophy, she may do a good job. She may do a bad job. Okay? But she's always going to be seen as the black woman who was put on the Supreme Court. And nobody's going to say, was she the best one? Apparently, Lindsey Graham knows a district court judge in South Carolina, a black district court judge in South Carolina who is very liberal, who he would have supported. So for people that want to say that this is all about race and gender, whatever, no, we've had a woman on the Supreme Court. We've had many women, minorities on the Supreme Court. We've had a lot of white guys on the Supreme Court. We've had black men on the Supreme Court. It's not about that at all. What it is about the judicial philosophy of preserving and protecting the Constitution and applying the laws that Congress makes against them. And when they don't fit, send them back to Congress and let them figure out a better, more correct way of doing it, not just make it happen because we believe the Constitution is a living, breathing document that should morph with the change of time without any action by Congress. And I'll leave it there.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Alec Gunter.
All right, we covered a lot of ground. I just want to say, like, again, I don't know much about her. I'm kind of neutral on her. She's a Democrat, so I'm inclined to believe that she'll do more things that I would agree with than a Republican would, and that's fine with me. I do have to do a little bit more due diligence on her. I think that the accusations being made against her regarding the pedophilia case are ludicrous. I think that they're making it sound like she herself is a pedophile, to be quite honest, and that she'll like somehow incorporate some kind of interpretation of the Constitution that would lead to like more lenient punishments for pedophiles, I guess. I don't know, but it seems silly to me. Is it about race and gender? I think that Biden kind of made a mistake by just coming out and saying like, oh yeah, Jack, I'm going to pick a black woman. Like, I think that was a mistake. I don't agree with that personally. I think that he should have just gone and done it. And then that way, like, conservatives would be forced to argue. Like, I think that conservatives are arguing on merits that are other than her race. I can't speak to how much her race is involved, but I don't agree with those merits either. I think that it's more about her, like, her personal political beliefs that, you know, they don't really like, which is fine. But I think that it's silly that they're trying to stick her on this whole pedophilia thing. It's very weird. As far as the Supreme Court and the politicization, I stand by my original statement. You know, the Supreme Court is one of the three branches of the most powerful government in the world. It will forever and always be politicized. I will always try to advocate for the person that I believe will interpret the Constitution and all laws that we have in the direction that I find more favorable, and I am not going to apologize for that.
Muted. I'm going to fade to CTV.
Take your ass to another fucking country. This is the United States. We have a constitution that you should probably fucking read, Alec. That right there is why we even bother having a fucking SCOTUS to begin with, right? Is so that they can read the Constitution and then they can interpret the laws that get passed by Congress as to whether or not they meet the sniff test. And if they don't, then they are struck down as unconstitutional. The future of the Supreme Court, right, is going to be one that I think at the moment is going to be more textually based. And that I think is very, very fucking good. Because I don't need half-wit fucking political judges coming in there, right? And then bringing their political philosophy to the table whenever it comes to how they're going to rule on a fucking case. They need to take each thing that comes along the way and read it verbatim for what it's supposed to mean, and then make a ruling on it based off of the Constitution. Because the fact of the matter is Congress has all of the power to be able to call an Article 5 convention of the fucking states and pass a fucking amendment and make the Constitution say whatever the fuck they want. That right there's the reality of our system, Alec, which is another fucking reason to go read the Constitution. Congress has the fucking power. The Supreme Court needs to do its fucking job of reading this shit textually going forward, has been for the past, so that Congress can do its fucking job instead of continuing to obfuscate their responsibility to any number of three-letter fucking agencies that we fucking got right now.
With all sincerity, I love you, buddy.
So,
Shut the fuck up, Alec. It's closing statements.
true. And fresh face, new idea. Go.
Look, I think she's qualified. I think a lot of these attacks, especially the pedophilia ones, directly from Josh Hawley, you can tie them back to a lot of bad faith arguments and for gathering the QAnon base, because they're the ones who are going off on this. And it's tied in further by the fact that she is one of the people who sentenced the Pizzagate shooter. So. We're looking at that, and then for example, one of the Josh Hawley ones. I'm just gonna, because I didn't talk because my thing broke halfway through. One of the quotes he has about her on his thread is her saying that some of the people who are being sentenced here are because they are not actually pedophiles. They're people who got into this community because they were looking at the tech, the encryption, and the video editing for some of this information. That quote that he attributed to her is her actually quoting the actual. I think it's a philosopher, the person in front of her. She's reading a quote back to a person. That's what he's using. So look, I think she's going to be a fine judge. In reality, her opinion on the court is still going to remain a minority for at least 2 decades, varying on what happens with Clarence Thomas, if anyone is going to push things on him, or God forbid his health takes a turn for the worse. Thankfully, he's okay right now. But until there is anything closer to a 5-4 or a in either direction, her role on the court is going to be very minimal, in the same way that the other 2 liberal justices are.
All right. I'm going to fade to Jude.
It's really hard to take the notion that conservatives do everything on the merits and that it's the progressives that are trying to be activists when Clarence Thomas's wife operates as an advocate and runs a consulting firm that actually helps people that ends up before Thomas, and that she's weighed in on things from repealing the Affordable Care Act, Roe v. Wade, COVID mandates, transgender rights, et cetera, and he won't recuse himself on anything. And that's actually in the legal code that he's supposed to do that. Once we toss all the norms and all the shit like that out, that's what set us down this road. You're looking at And I'll finally, the last thing, to CTV's point, you're looking at a situation where you're not going to get anybody in Congress to agree to a constitutional convention. You can't get 2/3 of Congress to agree on anything except for more war spending. We're boned in so much that the only thing that they're using the SCOTUS nominee for is for optics and talking points. Whether it be the QAnon shit that Cruz and Hawley were sticking to, or Cory Booker's theater kid, get the libs all juiced up moments where he just filibustered for 20 minutes, right? So the thing that you're saying, I'll just easily change it, we're not in that era anymore. Anyway.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Gabakov.
So the biggest thing with any Supreme Court judge or whatever, we have to, any politic, we have to set a guideline with judges and anyone who's making laws that we're not going to have a bias within it. We need to set that precedent and we need to make it happen, because currently what we have right now is a lot of bias on both sides. And we all mentioned it here. Like, if we have right-leaning people up there, a percentage more, if we have a percentage more of left-leaning people, we get things passed into either side. We shouldn't be looking at it from like a political side. We should be looking at it for a better of the people, and not from what we think personally is better. Same thing within court cases. Yes, she has had overturned cases. Yes, she's had, as we mentioned, the case with the child porn, that she gave him less time, and then somebody brought up the Pizzagate one where she gave him more time. So it's just, there's personal bias within all of these, and we have to go by the law of what's actually there and how to determine what the sentencing is, not by a personal bias. And I think that's the biggest issue we're having with these. And so when we're having these nominations, we're fighting about like, oh, well, are these like, what do you guys, anecdotal like statements that like don't mean anything, or like, are they actually like something that actually matters? Like, we have to determine that, because if this is a long story, like a long history of this, we're fucked, because we're going to keep adding people in here that have a long history of personal bias, and it's going to ruin everything.
All right, last but not least, Grumlow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Alec and Fresh Face's new ideas. I don't really see the argument where this is someone who is unqualified. I don't really see the argument where this person has any kind of history of activism or any kind of like extreme progressive politics. This is a very down the line liberal judge. As far as the conversation around the Constitution, I'll wipe my ass with the Constitution. I don't really give a shit. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Whoa, spicy ending. All right, before we jump into the last topic, I just wanted to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. So for everyone in everyone's chat, go follow our wonderful panelists. Go support them, check out their solo content and everything, Don't check out just the panel. Go, even if you agree or don't agree with them, go check them out.
For all of your CBD needs, make sure to go to Shell Shock CBD and put in code DANABO for 10% off.
Also, if you're here, it's because you got an invite from Danabo. So yeah, twitch.tv/Danabo. Go show some love too. Like CTV said, shellshockcbd.com. Enter code Danabo to get 10%. And yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the last topic of tonight, which is Destiny. Destiny being banned. So Destiny kind of was like the first political streamer on this sphere and on this platform and everything. So my question for you is, what do you think the future of politics on Twitch is? And without his influence, basically. So what is the future of Twitch politics without his influence? And we're going to start with Alec.
Hey, so I'll be honest. When I got into politics on Twitch, it was only like 2 years ago. Not even. I didn't even know who Destiny was. I had heard like rumblings of him. I never paid attention to Destiny, like ever. The only reason I ever paid attention to him was because of the shit that he said that was like just blatantly awful. Like you'd have to be like a monster to even entertain it, like just like blaming rape victims and shit. Like it was really bad. So like I just, it didn't affect me, I guess, like his being banned. I don't think that it's going to affect Twitch politics on a large scale. The only thing that I think it'll do is kind of lessen the drama a little bit. Although that'll always exist, especially in leftist circles, because leftists can't agree on fucking anything. But that being said, I think ultimately, I think it was a good thing that he was banned overall. I would like to know why he was banned, because we don't know that, and knowing that would help me to not get banned. So, if it was because of a derogatory comment he made, I can understand that. But if it was because of like his issue on the trans sports, I don't know. It's a little sussy. So I would like to know why he was banned before I make like an executive decision on like whether or not it was ultimately good, So that's my opening statement.
You muted.
Muted, buddy.
I'm not talking to him.
Thank you. And before CTV gets angry, I'm just keeping the opinion of the Hippy Dippy champion for the end. Because CTV fought in the arena against Destiny, so, I think his opinion might be interesting. Anyway, have big takes.
Okay, so 2 quick things. As somebody who was much more right-leaning a couple years ago, Destiny drove me to the middle and basically took me to the left. And I think he was probably the best advocate for the left for de-radicalizing fucking... I was never that bad, but like I was a lot more right than I am now. But like, I think it's crazy that left wingers are like fucking rah and hooting and hollering about how this is like a good thing, but it's all it's going to end up doing is it's taking a tool out of your tool belt to fucking get people on your side. And really quick, Geek, are we even allowed to talk about like what his take was? Because like I agree with his fucking take. So if I say that, does my Twitch get taken down? Does your Twitch get taken down because we're fucking running on it right now? It obviously is fucking like it pokes a giant hole in whatever the fuck Twitch thought they were gonna do with this. That's a wild move by them.
I think that before you say you agree with Destiny's take, I think you should precise which one, because you might be in trouble in certain cases.
The trans women in sports take. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like he's pretty based on most takes, but I won't say I agree with him on everything.
Yeah, some of them. To be honest, we don't know. I think 3 reasons were given, but we still don't know. There was the ban. I'm just saying this as information, just so everyone is on the same page. There was the platforming of Nick Fuentes. There was something that he said on Twitter that we're not going to talk about. This is not the debate of tonight. There was the trans take.
The Fuente? Wait.
It's opening statement. Save it.
I mean, if you have questions, just to precise, like for the thing, but.
Yeah, I thought the Fuentes thing wasn't on his stream.
There was 10 minutes of it on the stream. Basically, at the beginning of the end, or at least that's what I heard. Anyway, sorry, I lost track of who went, who didn't go so far. All right, so fresh face.
All right, hold on. Sorry, having stream issues. Like Alec, I never really interacted with Destiny. A lot of this stuff, mostly that I saw him being involved in, was generally relatively toxic. I do know that he is responsible for a lot of building Twitch politics into the way it is, and I do know he was very effective at pulling people to the left or closer to the middle. It's hard when big names go away. The advantage of that is it leaves a void. It leaves the ability for maybe a little more actual nuance and relatively intelligent discussions to happen instead of some of the absurdity. He's not gone. I believe he's still going to go to YouTube. Knowing what happened exactly is good, and I think this is similar to like my issue with Twitch when Twitter bans people. If you're not going to be consistent or explain what your reasoning is, it's kind of nonsense. But other than that, I don't know. I never interacted with him or spent enough time following Destiny streams. I came into Twitch politics through Vosh to really have more of an opinion on that.
All right. Gremlo.
Okay, so I'm kind of going to preface this with I think everyone here can agree that one of the big problems with whenever larger streamers get clapped off the platform is that Twitch is not good about being transparent in why. We still don't know why Dr. Disrespect was banned. So I think there is like a actual conversation to be had about transparency from the platform side. But if the question is, and you can clarify for me, Mr. Geek, do I think it's a good or bad thing? Was it?
It's more about the future of the sphere without his influence, basically.
Okay. Nothing is going to change. The only thing that's going to change is his orbiters are going to be mad about this for the next year. And the people who make content out of Destiny's, insane ramblings and his extremely toxic community are not going to be able to make content out of it anymore. We can still be critical of him on YouTube after a certain amount of time, as long as we're not giving him a platform. That's fine. But what are we missing? A extremely bigoted, extremely toxic, sad, pathetic little man who, after bringing on two of the largest leftist content creators, or bringing one on and then one splintering it from his community, getting really upsetty spaghetti that they dwarf his content now, and made a heel turn around 2017 to now being the enlightened centrist who's just above the discourse and being as inflammatory as possible. I don't really give a shit. It's a long time coming. We can talk about second chances, but 11 years of second chances and rehabilitation seems like enough. That's my take.
All right. Kabakov.
So I never personally interacted with him. I think I think he was on one of these at some point. But I don't think he said much. But I definitely was on one panel with him. Before he left quickly after. But I just, like Gremlo said, like, his community definitely was very toxic. Any belief that he had, his community then absorbed. And if anyone was talking like badly about Destiny, then it turned into all of his community was now in your chat attacking you. They must like watch chat to see Destiny's name pop up anywhere on the fucking platform and be like, I need to go there and go harass. So the bad thing about that is, like, now that he's off the platform, like, his control, like, he didn't have much control over those people, but any control that he may have had while he was on the platform is now gone. And I would assume that a lot of them probably followed him to YouTube as well, but I'm sure they're still going to be within the community, still bringing up some side of his debates and everyone else's chats. I don't think the politics side of Twitch is going to change. I think he was very close-knit in his own little circle. I think a lot of the streamers currently, like, we have panels with everyone from every wake of Twitch, whether you're left-leaning, right-leaning, whether you're 10 viewer Andy, whether you're 1,000 people in your chat, it doesn't matter. So I don't think having him gone is going to make that big of a difference within panels and discussions. But I think his takes may not be there as much. I think they will be in a later aspect of it, but we won't have them as prominently in our panels as often.
All right. Jude.
I've been the one to pull the trigger on Destiny if it were up to me, but ultimately I would like to know, just the same as everybody universally, regardless of your feelings about the guy, as to what it was exactly that got him. But I think it's not surprising if you consider that when Twitch changed their guidelines to consider off-stream behavior and off-stream interactions with people that you have to be something that they consider when they deal with account banning. It was a matter of when, not if, quite frankly. I don't think that there's going to be any noticeable changes overall, simply because A, you already have people for the drama channels that are already reviewing his YouTube videos as soon as like the ones that were published yesterday, people were already watching this morning, because you can still continue to talk about Destiny and show his videos as long as you're adding context to it and you're turning it into transformative content, for one. But for two, somebody's going to fill in the vacuum. We're all independent contractors in that respect, and somebody's going to want the viewers. Somebody will try to be edgy in the same way or what have you. But ultimately, the other element of that, and here's the challenge that I would throw down to anybody that wants to sit there and lament to a great extreme about how much Destiny meant for them, is it go on his live stream. Go or organize a panel that's exclusively something that he will stream, and then you just don't stream it for 2 hours. I don't think anybody that's going to act like the dear patron saint Destiny has been dethroned is actually going to do any of that. They just want to say it so that they sound favorable to his audience, but ultimately they're not going to donate their time to go continue to help someone that helped them as much as they seem to make it out to be. Yeah, so nothing's really going to change.
All right, real quick. Besides CTV, who didn't go? MPU, go.
Yeah, so I didn't really know Destiny. I did see a lot of people doing reaction streams to his shit, right? I mean, there's he created a whole cottage industry of lefties who like to whine and bitch and moan, and when they don't have a conservative to bitch at, they love to bitch at his stuff. To be honest, Destiny, for what I've watched a little bit of his stuff. I really just look at him as like the Twitch YouTube version of fucking Howard Stern, right? If Howard Stern were on Twitch, he'd get fucking banned, right? Because the way that everything is shifted with, I don't want to call it wokeness. It's just like people eating their fucking young, right? Twitch politics, from what I understand, Destiny sort of built it up. There wasn't really Twitch politics before Destiny. And that may be true, maybe not. Somebody can correct me, in the open comment. But he brought a lot of people in. He came over. Now, he had a gift of gab, and he could high-speed fucking gab and play League of Legends, whatever, right? Simultaneously, and he said, "Oh, I'm a multitasker. When I task, it's multi-way, so whatever, right?" He was an interesting enough cat. If you could get him on a one-on-one, and I've seen him do one-on-ones with various people, and he seemed like a nice, affable person, right? Could he be abrasive, acerbic, caustic? Yeah, sure, right? Fucking free speech, man. Brandeis said the trick to bad speech is more speech. Disinfectant's the best sunshine, and when entities. I'm a constitutionalist, but when the government has the ability to say that you will not restrict free speech, yet they tolerate companies who go out and do the same thing because it meets their particular objectives and goals. Not saying anybody in the government want to get rid of Destiny, but when they do it under the auspices of things like Section 230 and create problems for other people to participate in the space because of something that is completely unrelated to the space, they then become publishers, and publishers like the New York Times, like book publishers, have a different standard in terms of what they can restrict and go after. So should he have been banned? No, I don't think. He didn't advocate anybody getting fucking harmed. And his a lot of his takes were shit. But you know what? Somebody could have corrected him. And fuck all you people out there who think he should be banned. And those of you who think he should be banned, but you want to know why, so you can avoid being banned, fuck you too, right? I mean, come on. If you operate a good community, you won't get fucking banned. Whatever. And if you get banned, do what he did. Go to fucking YouTube.
All right. And last but not least, the one you've all been waiting for, CTV.
Here's the deal. All right. We had the match of matches. The match of matches here in Twitch politics. CTV, the only person in this entire fucking Twitch politics community that was able to actually take Destiny down. None of you motherfuckers were able to get it fucking done. Now, the thing that saddens me, right, is that one, I'm still waiting on the fucking belt, right? That obviously saddens me. I'm still waiting. Just wait till it gets here. You think the ego's bad now? Just fucking wait. Okay? Now, that said, all of you fucking liberals and you that are a part of the woke fucking agenda that think that it's a good idea that Destiny got banned, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You know why you're a fucking idiot? Because it illustrates the conservative viewpoint when it comes to freedom of speech, like MPU was just talking about. As soon as they decide that your speech is not what they want to hear, click. There you go. So yeah, MPU's absolutely fucking right. If you're sitting there worried about what you're doing is going to get you banned, blah, 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 you're probably doing shit you ought not be doing anyway. So fuck you. That said, apparently Jude, right, has got has got little dick syndrome and had to bring it out ahead of time, right? So Destiny, it's still true, brother. It's still true. CTV is a part of DGG, and Destiny is still a part of the Wolfpack. Here's a drink, brother.
Oh yeah, and before we open it, I have to ask, Jude, what's the belt?
It's a signed
it's cool looking.
ECW TV title by Rob Van Dam.
God,
So it's not
If you
one
know,
that-
you know.
So it's not one that you earned. I
mean, I took it to him and had him sign it.
He paid
you
money.
didn't
for it.
earn it though.
It's not an achievement.
It's
It's,
nice.
it's a collectible.
It's
All right.
nice.
Is
Don't
that not
get
a
me wrong.
hippie? Is that a
Oh, wait a
hippie
second.
dippy belt?
How in the hell did Dylan
No, it
Burns sneak
wasn't.
his way in?
Oh, dude, I was literally over here like, what the fuck?
Hey, Dylan in
No.
the house.
All right, everybody shut up. The Vince McMahon of Twitch politics has fucking showed up, so all you plebes need to shut your fucking mouths. Mr.
So-
Dylan Burns, if you would.
So my one of my main assistants and bookers, okay, I would say my Paul Heyman, if anything, Danabo told me that the topic is Destiny being banned. And I just want to tell you guys that the official position that I know all of you will take is that we're all happy, very happy that he was banned, because now that I can feast on his corpse and take up the mantle of the #1 debate pro in the sphere and continue to use this platform to expand and conquer. I might be a liberal internationalist when it comes to foreign policy in my real life, but online, on the internet, and in the realm of Twitch, I am a realist. I am aggressive. If it was, this is my invasion of Iraq, and we're going to conquer. Okay, I just wanted you all to know that that is the official position I expect you all to take.
Question for you, Mr. Dylan Burns.
Yes.
Are you the Hippy Dippy champion?
Am I the Hippy Dippy champion?
Kind of hard to be the #1 debate bro if you're not.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, you don't necessarily need to be the Hippy Dippy champion to be the mover and shaker behind the scenes that controls the movements towards the Hippy Dippy champion. I would say
that'd be Danabo, by the way.
I would say, if anything, critically thinking veteran, you're a Mike Tyson, but I'm the Don.
Spinks.
I'm
Leon
the,
Spinks.
So
I don't know.
So you have horrible hair that stands straight up.
Yeah, but I have money.
Yeah, but you got horrible hair that stands straight up.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Who's the
but you're
macho
still-
man?
Wait a minute a second.
I've said before, I think CTV is like the macho man of Twitch. Not macho man, I've said ultimate warrior. I think he's like the ultimate warrior of Twitch politics.
See, I would have said Ric Flair.
You haven't
Is there
met me,
somebody-
right, Dylan?
Is there
Somebody
a
in
tracking,
CTV's
is there a
chat just said
tracking
you're
number yet?
Hillary Clinton of the Hippy Dippy.
Me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's the Bernie Sanders.
Perfect.
He gets
Hillary
close,
Clinton of
but he
Twitch
can't quite get
politics? Wonderful. Despised by everyone, but still has more power than everyone? Lovely.
Hillary Clinton's got power.
Also, CCV said the take that you were taking is a wrong take. He said we're all assholes if we want Destiny banned off of Twitch.
Well,
Well,
I never
mean,
said. Wait.
There's going to be
Wait.
people
Of
standing
course we're
around looking at
assholes.
this like Alexander's generals after he died, right? They said, "Who's going to lead us?" And he said, "The fucking strongest." So to Dylan's point, people are going to go out there and trying to carve it up.
Look, the king is dead. Long live the king. That's all I'm saying.
I should do more reaction streams on the people trying to pick over the corpse.
There's also a big difference. There's also a big difference between wanting him gone and not losing any sleep over the fact that he's gone, and that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was fertile, like we don't know what caused it, but there was fertile examples to it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think the healthiest approach is oh no. Anyway.
And Vince, I got a question. I got a question for you, Vince.
One last thing before I head out. Yep.
Yeah. The people want to know, when can CTV expect the belt?
Very soon. Very
I was going to ask if there was a tracking number.
Give my king his belt.
I'm going to Poland, so I've been very distracted with the Poland trip. But I will be sure to get you the belt very soon, CTV.
You know, Joe Biden's already back.
Not only would I, but I know the people would appreciate that.
Awesome, man. You guys have a good one. You guys have a great show, okay?
Better do.
Thanks for popping in, Dylan.
No problem.
CTV is going to be waving that belt around everywhere. As soon as he gets it, it's going to be on him all day long, every day.
In a speedo.
He's going to get a Brad Naylor. He's going to get a Brad Naylor and staple it to his forehead.
He's going to go get professional photos with it.
He's going to have like
on his LinkedIn.
With my the cameras I got now, I don't need. I just had the wife take a picture. You shitting me? I don't need a professional.
Are you gonna take a picture of you in the suit with the Mustang with the belt?
Psychologist.
You have to.
Hold on. It's not a Mustang. It's the Wolfstang. All right, just to be clear. Yeah. And yeah, we're doing it all.
Is that a custom?
Are you
custom made by Ford?
One where you're wearing.
Is it custom made? Absolutely, it's custom made by me. Got it?
I own a Honda.
Same.
All right.
460 horsepower up underneath that motherfucker. Anytime you want to go, make your way down to Central Florida. Let's
Mine
go.
drives.
Anyway, wait. Sorry, I want to reel it back into like the topic and everything. So yeah, Destiny ban. What is the future of Twitch politics? Basically, go.
Lefties, do you
Whoever
really
can take it? It's whatever's available. It's up to the people here to find what it is, in the same way it was pre-Destiny, and the same way it was with Destiny. If we want to, in the same way that like as Hippy Dippy grows, there was offshoots of it. There'll be offshoots of Destiny, and someone will spin up, or a whole bunch of people will spin up. I think mostly the thing is to pretend that we're like enjoying him being gone as like some proof that right-wing people are right about silencing, because this is actually the government doing it.
What the fuck are you talking about? The right-wingers on this channel said that they thought it was stupid for him to be fucking censored.
It's not censored though. Like, hold up,
he is censored. He got fucking deplatformed.
He violated terms of service. Like,
whatever.
This is so stupid.
He still got deplatformed, right?
You've all admitted we don't.
Wait.
He's been censored.
Fresh.
Destiny is still like available to do it. He still has. I think if DGG is kind of like its own separate like server, and he has his own ability to create content still. He's still doing it. Destiny is not bound in some basement. I mean, kind of everyone is bound in the basements where we stream. Like, he's not
using Amazon Web Services.
Well, I agree with you, Fresh.
Then Destiny is free to. Hey, isn't the conservative argument Destiny is free to create a competing thing? Like, to say that he's silenced over when you're like removed.
Look, he was Look, no, completely. If you're censored, doesn't mean completely shut the fuck up or shut down, right? He was removed from the platform, just like Donald Trump was removed from Twitter and Facebook and all the other shit, right? He was deplatformed from a platform. The fact that he can maybe create one on his own or go somewhere else and still have an audience is irrelevant. He was deplatformed because some people on the left. Twitch is run by a bunch of fucking leftists at Amazon, okay? They got pissed off, and then they decided to expand the ways in which they could fucking shut speech down, so they went not on their platform, but off their platform, right? So I'm not saying in this case...
Do you enjoy the ability to make any money whatsoever off Twitch?
What? No, I make a little money, yeah, sure.
So, yeah, but you enjoy that, right?
Well, I don't think it's enough to enjoy. Mostly I take the money that I get off of fucking subscriptions. By the way, subscribe to me at the More Perfect Union.
Holy fucking shit! Do y'all see what I just fucking saw?
Yeah, Stardust. We don't care.
Fucking Stardust.
No, we don't care. No, we don't care.
You don't care? You don't care because you don't understand the lore.
Wait, who said that they didn't care?
This is the
Who
first
said that they
time.
didn't care? Who said that they didn't care?
This is the first time that Stardust has showed up here on the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show. Stardust, thank you for coming to be a contestant on the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And who's the one who said that they didn't care? Can you please point them out to me?
Oh,
fuck me, Stardust. You know I love you, but
the guy that looks like Santa Claus on sabbatical.
Oh, yeah. The one who looks like a mall cop who became Santa Claus just for the holidays, right?
Yeah, call me Paul Blart. No fucking problem.
Paul Blart, but Santa Claus edition. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. No presents for you.
That's okay. I don't need the mall Santa.
Don't bother me because you don't
matter. The mall Santa never gave anybody presents. Anyways, you're not doing anything special for me.
Yeah, you weren't old enough apparently.
Don't hate the side hustle, Stardust.
Wait.
Right?
French.
Go ahead.
All right, Stardust. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Hi, Stardust.
All right, the topic is Destiny, basically. Destiny being banned and the future of Twitch politics. I don't know if you heard a little bit of the debate before, but yeah. What's your take on that?
Destiny was banned?
No, he was suggested to go elsewhere peacefully.
Okay.
Peacefully.
So what have the takes been so far on this?
Well,
I was in the middle of talking garbage.
Stardust, it seems that the liberal or the left side.
I don't think we've gotten through all of the takes.
Trust me,
opening takes.
I'm about to summarize it because we did have openings, right? So the liberal or left side thinks that it's a good thing that he's not on the platform, but the conservatives are like, hey, free fucking speech. There wasn't any fucking hatred being put out there, and the fact that he's been banned.
No.
Yeah.
Well, guess you know what? I must not be on the same page as the other liberals because I seem to think that's fucking bullshit too. Yeah, maybe he's made some mistakes, but I don't think he deserved to be banned, especially for like the space that he carved out on Twitch. That it's just like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to me.
I agree.
All right, so I started off saying I wouldn't have been the one to pull the trigger, but there's enough there considering what the guidelines for Twitch are that, yeah, it makes sense.
So you're
like,
just
straight up.
So you're just saying you're a yeller. Was that it?
No, but I was pointing out that was the reason.
One that pulled the trigger. You must be.
I wouldn't have. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over the fact that he's gone.
I think he was a huge contributor to the Twitch politics space. I am going to lose some sleep. I am.
Okay.
Lefties, are you?
The point I was going to make. Go
ahead. I want Jude to finish his point first, and after that, I'd give it to him.
The point I was trying to make is that communities have terms of service shit, straight up. So they were taking a knee-jerk reaction to try to get ahead of what they saw as a potential problem that you either have a terms of service that you live by, or ultimately you end up like Gab, and no one wants to fucking do anything with a platform like Gab. Again, it would be super helpful if we knew what the reason was, ultimately, because like if you look at the military, 9 times out of 10, when a commanding officer pee-pee slaps somebody, they put a bulletin about it in the next day so that everybody knows what the infraction was and what the fuck, why they ruled the way that they did, and that's absent from this. But outside of that, if you know what the guidelines are, you know why he got banned.
Let's not invoke the military and its precedent and what they fucking do, because it is not always clear.
Example.
No, it's a horrible fucking example. Anybody that's fucking served knows it's a horrible fucking example.
Can we point out that the person claiming responsibility for the ban has, one, falsely accused him of rape. Yes. Falsely accused him of stealthing, then misconstrued his beliefs about stealthing, was threatening to get Melina kicked off of Twitch, is calling, falsely calling him a transphobe. I mean, these are just, the person is ridiculous. If he's going to be banned, there should be some punishment, either a suspension or getting some temporarily kicked off of Twitch for 2 weeks or something for false accusations of rape.
Yeah,
okay, and she should be gone too. Okay, now what?
And Jude, and all the people that are
the reality we find ourselves in, is
all the people that are making the argument that it's TOS. I understand that TOS is the rule we live by on Twitch or in any private company, and because I'm principled and I hold that standard freedom of association for other things. I'm going to keep it for Twitch. They can do this. That's not the problem. Lefties, are you seriously saying it's a net negative for him to be kicked off this platform when he has done an immense amount of good for your side by dragging people who are radicalized and people who are on the right and either bringing them to the left or bringing them to the center? He makes people less right wing.
Acknowledge the impact he had.
He can still continue to do that.
But I would say at what cost?
Not as effectively. And if Twitch is going to implement this rule on him, they need to implement it on fucking a lot more people.
Well, then more people need to report the people that are doing it.
We don't rely on user
Let's
Let's just report. Twitch report does not work at all.
French.
All right. Who wanted to talk?
Real quick, Geek.
All right.
I just want to say.
CTV, go.
Okay, so the only thing I want to say is, Geek, sometimes let it flow. Sometimes let it flow. Sometimes let it flow. That's
Not
it.
when everyone is talking at the same time.
like
Okay.
Hey, sometimes just let them get past it. It was short.
Yeah, okay. Who else wants to say something?
I was just saying that Twitch TOS reporting access doesn't actually work 90% of the time. You can have groups of people go in and report a person because something's actually going on that's actually harming people, and shit still doesn't happen. I've watched it happen numerous times, and it doesn't work. So just saying, hey, this person's being malicious, that we should report them, and that all of a sudden us reporting Daddy Twitch is going to save us all, that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way.
Great fucking example by K, right? Because BX Bullet had motherfucking pedophile going over the Pokemon community, fucking still doing his shit. Right? So BX Bullet was fucking tagging Twitch on fucking Twitter, sending them fucking emails, sending them evidence of the shit, made a fucking video, right? She did all of this shit. Motherfucker's still on Twitch, but yet somehow Destiny gets fucking banned. Are you fucking shitting me? We can't get pedophiles off this goddamn...
They
Okay.
just
I
would like to just say really quickly.
Went and used it maliciously against her.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to start muting people. I'm going to remind everyone one rule. When I speak, no one else speak. Anyway, I want to throw it to Stardust, and after that, Alexander. Stardust, go.
I would just like to say it's absolutely despicable that somebody would falsely accuse somebody of rape. It is insulting to people who have been through that, to falsely accuse somebody of being abusive. It's insulting to claim that there have been hate raids from his community when these people don't know what a fucking hate raid is. Talk to any of my mods. We've been hate raided plenty of times. We've had 300 bans because all of a sudden we would get hate raided by far righties who are spamming racial stuff at me. So I'm just saying, these people claiming hate raids when it's four fucking people in your chat. I'm sorry, 4 fucking people in your chat, not even saying anything hateful, just criticizing you. You don't even fucking talk about it. Don't even fucking talk to me, because you don't know shit about what a hate raid looks like. Want to come and see a hate raid? You want to see a bunch of people calling you a street chitter? Come to my fucking chat. And you know what? I have something else to say. If Keffels sees this, if somebody wants to clip it, send it to her. Keffels, please have a conversation with me, because you're full of fucking shit. You're a crazy, crazy person, and you're full of shit. Come fucking talk to me. I do not respect what you have done to this platform.
Clip it and ship it.
Right.
And I'll moderate.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
I'll be fucking fair.
All right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take that as an
sorry,
apology for what happened to
sorry.
Kavanaugh.
Okay. Alec, sorry, I said it before. There are people who have raised their hand for a while. I'm sorry. I'm giving you the mic straight after.
Oh, it's fine. I was just trying to find, I'm trying to scuttle through the Keffel's posts and stuff. What was the exact accusation she made? I don't even know.
She initially was initially on a stream saying, didn't Destiny stealth somebody? And then her chat was telling her no, he didn't stealth somebody, which is why would you even make the accusation? And then she said, well, I don't know if he stealthed anybody, but he definitely said that stealthing wasn't rape, which is another inaccuracy. How do you
did say that?
How do you walk back? I'm pretty sure he didn't, but how do you walk back one thing, and when you walk it back, you half-ass walking it back when he didn't stealth anybody? What does that even mean?
All right.
Well, let's see if I can find something here.
These fucking people have nothing.
Do we have any confirmation on what the any kind of idea of what the actual reason for it was? If there was like compounding factors? Because like I said earlier, I mean this is like a long time coming thing. So I don't know if this is like a bunch of things that happened, or if there's one specific thing that he was banned for. Do we have any kind of idea?
That kind of pokes a hole in the.
Wait, sorry. MPU, and then after that, Jude.
I was just going to say, I want to thank Stardust for that immense defense of people that are wrongly accused. And I'll, on the behalf of the conservative community, I will take that as a generalized apology for what happened to Judge Kavanaugh during his confirmation hearing. Thank you so much.
All right, Jude.
Since we don't know what the reason was, I would hate to see the rest of the evening get washed into one specific topic of whatever the hell happened with Keffels. If she lied, and she probably did, or whatever, doesn't matter. The fact remains, there's still enough shit on the Twitter alone. If you want to suggest that he should have been banned, I'm cool with that. I'd say, yeah, sure, right? But to say that he didn't participate in enough blatant activities that it's not a surprise at all that he got fucking whacked. That's silly. That's completely silly. Like, there's enough there. Just that blackface picture alone was enough to okay, you're done.
Him saying that BLM protesters should be mowed down is enough.
There was context.
What does Twitter have to do to his
context to that shit. Twitter and Twitch, as soon as Twitch changed their guidelines to say that things that happen off platform will be considered in their bans, and the fact that one of the things they count. It doesn't. You think people don't know that that's him?
Yeah, but that's post hoc. Most people don't they don't punish or have punitive actions for post hoc post hoc.
Ex post facto laws, right? That there's a concept in our.
This was
legal
2018.
system that we don't allow that.
And this is shit that he's done in the last 3 months. So it's not post hoc.
No, but it was because the change in the TOS happened after some of the stuff that they're saying he got banned for. That's the problem with.
When was the change?
I don't know, but I thought
it was 2018.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's been plenty of shit.
His response to the digital blackface picture, to where he changed his own image and then dropped a soft AAN bomb in response. That alone, if you are tying those two things together, is enough to actually result in some kind of action, like it or not.
Let's get off what he actually said. The problem is that why? I just don't understand why it wouldn't be Twitter's responsibility to ban him and not Twitch.
All right, so first things first, the TOS actually changed a few months ago where it started talking about your online and your on Twitch and off Twitch behavior. That was just a few months ago, right? That wasn't that was not 2018. Now, second point, right? The digital blackface. Are you shitting me? Come on, give me a fucking break with that dumb shit. Third thing, right?
Bring the tweet up on your screen.
Third fucking thing, right? Whenever you're talking about Destiny, talking about mowing down people, what he was talking about was that these riots needed to stop. And if it took the right wing going out there and removing these fucking people, then
I guess that makes it okay to do calls to violence.
That's the fucking difference in the fucking take. So you want to take that and read it however the fuck you want, but the riots needed to stop.
Listen here, brother, if you're going to do calls for violence, you better make sure that it's against people I disagree with, brother. Otherwise, you're not going to post hoc rationalization, brother.
Okay. CTV, and after that, Gremlo. CTV, finish your point.
I also have a clip.
Yeah, so that's the fucking point. If you want to start talking about Destiny's fucking takes, and you need to have the entire fucking context instead of just trying to take your fucking view of what your small brain minded fucking take was or what you took away from it. That's the whole fucking point.
It was extra context and corrected him after he said it before all that grandstanding.
You didn't include any of the context about the riot starting. I know because I was fucking listening.
Say that either.
I have the clip of Keffels. If you want it, it's really short. Should I play it?
Can you play it?
Is it TOS safe?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's TOS safe.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's still up.
All right, for context.
I think.
Okay, it's on the live. I'm streaming it to the chat right now.
I got you, Stardust.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Oh.
Notice she's looking at her fucking chat.
insane.
Yeah, that's
Isn't every streamer though?
That is like a direct accusation.
I missed it.
Well, but that's a pretty horrendous charge to make, right?
Yeah, I
just
didn't
laughing
hear
about
him,
it.
sorry.
Come on.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
Yeah, she just literally
She
came out
says
and
it
said
is
she did it.
because she says it because in one of the first miraculously, it's a pink chat, pops up saying, "Yeah, meanwhile he stealths people."
Well, according to Destiny, here, let me just pull up some tweets from him.
He reads that.
If you're
Psycho people, man.
condom off and you can't say anything, you probably don't have the emotional maturity to engage in sex. You should just grab a caretaker or something and stick to masturbating to furry porn. Sorry, Twitter. So my question then would be, it kind of seems like he thinks stealthing is like an okay thing to do because the woman should just notice it. So I don't understand what the problem is with being accused of stealthing.
The issue okay, so even if let's say he did have that stance that you're saying, which he doesn't, I can explain
Well,
that
he
further.
tweeted it, so
I will explain the further context to that.
Okay,
Even
sure.
if he tweeted that, it is not okay to accuse somebody of stealthing when you have no fucking evidence. It's not okay to accuse somebody of rape when you have no fucking evidence for it. Now, the tweet itself, what you're talking about, is he is replying to somebody who said that and we found out more information later. But the way that the tweet was presented initially, this woman tweeted out that some guy took off his condom halfway through sex and she didn't say anything to him. And what it looked like to us is that she's saying that she noticed him taking it off midway through sex and didn't say anything. So with that context, with only that much, well, no, and but that's when you say though, like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out! Like, why the fuck are you?
And if you don't, does that no longer qualify as rape?
It is a type of assault for sure, but there should be some.
Depends on the depends on the state and whether or not you don't have the full context of that particular event, right?
But
you
the
have
woman should defend herself then?
You have a text representation of it, right?
Should the woman, if she notices a guy taking a condom off midway through sex, should she say something?
Yes.
If we lived in a world where there were zero,
If I'm being here, I'll give you an example from my own personal life. If I'm being kissed by a guy who's half my size and I don't want that, right? Which has happened. Should I shove him off and tell him to stop?
If you are in a situation where you are engaging in casual sex.
So that actually happened to me. My question to you is, because I did not respond that way, was that still assault or not?
Yes.
It's still assault. It's still assault. But it is not impractical advice. Wait a minute. It's still assault, but it is not impractical advice to advise a woman who is having intercourse with somebody that she should say something if somebody starts doing something that she doesn't want.
Sure.
If we lived in a world, just real quick, if we lived in a world where there were zero instances where women speaking up like that didn't result in them getting in some cases, their ass beaten and actually like full on raped, things of that nature, I'd say you have a point, but we don't live in that world. Like, there is still that fear that if you speak up, something worse is going to happen to you.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the fear mongering.
And it's not just that. You can be a deer in headlights too.
Mongering take. That's what that was. That was the fear mongering take. Instead of saying, "Hey, before you engage in this activity, know who it is that you're going to be engaging in this activity with, to the degree that if you say something in the fucking middle of it, that they'll actually fucking listen to you." That's the fucking point.
I have been raped. Okay, and in that instance, I didn't even get the chance because I didn't know who the person was, and they forced themselves on me. If I had known who they were and if I had the chance to say something, I think I would have said something. However, you're right. In these situations where somebody is preying upon you, you get into the fight or flight thing. Some people freeze up. I definitely did. Definitely. But like, if it's somebody you're engaging in sex with, you have the ability, you know this person, you have consented to sex with them, and you notice halfway through that they're taking the condom off, then I think that there is enough agency there for me to say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Put the condom back on or we're not having sex.
So if you don't do that, does that indicate a lack of emotional maturity?
I think that it is still assault, it is still rape, but I think that it indicates, yes, it does indicate some lack of emotional maturity.
I disagree with that.
Did not indicate fear.
I just think that if you're having sex with somebody, you should be at that level that like, and yes, again, it's probably a perfect world and it doesn't always happen, but like for me and what I preach to my siblings and I preach to any woman not engaging in sex yet or going to engage in sex is, hey, you should probably know the person you're probably having sex with, and you should probably sit down and have a conversation before you even get to the bedroom about how your sex is going to be, what you want in sex, what you don't want in sex, what things are completely off the table, and what are possibilities that if you say, hey, this isn't right, that we should stop. Because I've gone through experiences where I didn't say, hey, you should probably stop, this isn't feeling good, and now that affects me. So now, before I was with my fiance, we spent months talking about, hey, this is what we're going to do. When we go into the bedroom, I say, I don't like this, I don't like this.
Do we not advocate for communication in sex anymore? Do we not advocate for women to have agency?
Partner, hey,
women to have agency? If you are comfortable enough to have sex with somebody, if you're comfortable enough to have sex with somebody, then you should be comfortable enough to be able to advocate for your needs.
You can be having sex with somebody for 15
before
years
you're in the middle
I don't
of the
understand
act.
what you're going on.
You can, but there should still be, especially the woman who tweeted this said she didn't want to say anything because it was awkward. That doesn't indicate like fear to me. That just indicates like you thought it was awkward.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder,
It went on later on to expound upon that further. She
French.
had responses to Destiny.
Freshman talking, shut the fuck up!
Thank you. Just as a friendly reminder, after that, if you want to keep on that direction, you can, but like, the topic was, Destiny, future of Twitch, anything. I think we went really far into this one.
True. Destiny,
I understand because Destiny was so controversial and had so many takes that like, it was bound to happen, but yeah, I just wanted to reel it back in a little bit because I feel like it's becoming...
Yeah, so fact of the matter is, we can go around the room after this, right? Destiny didn't fucking stealth anybody, right? He had a take. There's a much more nuanced conversation in order to understand that take. That's not what this panel is about, okay? The conversation at hand is whether or not the fucking hot take king, right, that has been driving the fucking left crazy for the last 11 fucking years should have been banned from the platform. I haven't heard anything from anybody tonight that justifies his banning from the platform. Everybody seems to be wondering why it is that, he was banned so that they can avoid that. I would argue so that they can continue to try to drive themselves down the hot take lane in order to try to grab up the audience, right? Instead of holding to their own values and principles that would actually make them a much stronger streamer in the future.
I think it's even more so talking about these stigmatized topics because those are conversations like I come in your chat all the time for Marvel Media bullshit. And I bring up sex topics all the time. I like talking about those topics. I like talking about stigmatized topics that may have some type of loaded conversations behind them. I like talking about taboo topics, but like, is there a point that like my taboo topics are going to get too taboo or too stigmatized that I'm going to get banned for talking about them? Or my takes on them going to be stigmatized enough that I'm going to get banned for talking about them? Like that's, I think, the bigger problem we're having here is not exactly like trying to be him or trying to bring up these hot takes, but like if we're already having these idea of having these hot takes and bringing them on, like, but we're holding back now because we've seen so many people get banned just for the ideologies that they have. Do we want to follow down that same pathway?
Chilling of free speech.
Sorry, I want to throw to Fresh Face and after that Stardust.
Look, there's a lot of things that could be simultaneously happening at the same time. Destiny can be have it said things that have qualified to be banned, which can also have banned him for a nonsense reason. This Keffels person can have obviously made claims that are nonsense. There can be multiple factors into a decision. We can understand and quantify different things as we get more data. We don't have an answer from Twitch, as far as I am aware, of what actually removed him. Us asking for that statement in order to make questions about, like Kay, like you were saying, what could potentially threaten us in the future is a valid question to have. Destiny you can acknowledge the things he has done, both good and bad. Ask for clarification from Twitch, and I'm not saying Twitch is a perfect company in any way, shape, or form. I am aware of the bullet thing, and I understand that Twitch has completely dropped the ball and fucked up on that. But a number of factors here that are coalescing that it is acceptable to ask these questions about, and not to say, oh, we're celebrating in his loss. I'm sure there's people who are celebrating in his loss in the same way that anytime anyone when Hassan got temporarily banned, or when Bosch got permanently banned, there weren't people who were yelling at the same things. At least then we got a reason. It was an asinine reason, but we got a reason. Like, being aware of the consequences of working in these different platforms and them being consistent are two separate things that we don't have in this context.
All right.
I think that's the problem, right? They're arbitrary and capricious.
Yeah. Just to clarify in the last topic, I will say, if you can't say something when someone is taking a condom off, you're probably not emotionally mature enough to have sex. If you'd stealth somebody, let me finish. Okay. If you can't say something when someone is taking the condom off, you're probably not emotionally enough to be having casual sex, right? If you'd stealth someone, you're definitely not emotionally mature enough to have sex. Okay, these two can both be true.
Yeah,
just because I am giving advice to a victim on how to prevent future assault doesn't mean that I am absolving the assaulter. Okay.
Look, I'm so tired.
I am still fucking talking. I am still fucking talking. Excuse me. I am still fucking talking. I am still talking. Okay. If you want to say Destiny is edgy, sure, he's edgy. If you want to say he flew too close to the sun, maybe he did. But regardless of whether he regardless of his comments on stealthing, his comments on what this woman went through, which we found out later, she clarified with more details and things ended up being different. But regardless of what his comments were on this, it does not justify somebody accusing him of stealthing, which is assault. It does not justify somebody accusing him of having beliefs that he doesn't have. It does not justify going after somebody's livelihood. It just doesn't, especially somebody who has lifted up people of color, has lifted up trans people, has lifted up plenty of marginalized creators in this space, more than I've seen any other creator do.
Okay, ban her too.
I've been pretty marginalized. He never helped me.
All right.
But I don't think he should have been banned.
Drumlo, and after that, Jude.
Okay, so again, if we're having a conversation about transparency from Twitch, I will 100% agree with that. But again, we are talking about 11 years of receipts. N-word manifesto Andy. We're talking about a dude who has had calls for violence against people. There have been times, and I think it's greatly overstated his influence in the political space, that he has brought on people who have had careers in this platform. But largely, I think everyone on this platform be concerned about violating TOS with the amount of Destiny toe sucking going on right now. That's my take.
I'm not
sucking anybody's toes.
Real quick, sorry. Jude, and after that, CTV.
Just gonna say if you're going to open your discourse or your attempt at generating discourse by essentially trying to come up with a take that is so hot and toxic that to the outside looking in, it definitely 100% looks like he's trying to blame the victim of something as opposed to the person that did the act. That tells you all you need to know about his methods for generating viewership. It's been there for a long fucking time now. He's already admitted his viewers find him these examples. So they get the little dopamine hit when Daddy Destiny uses their tweet or their example or their weirdo that they find. He then proceeds to try to find even if it was coming from a good place, He tries to find the most toxic fucking shitter way to dump on that person. And then it's twofold because you generate viewers for your next stream, but then you also bring more people out of the woodwork because they're going to do what they should be considered a natural result, is to try to defend the person that they feel like they just shit on. And it just repeats over and over again. So, I mean, you can't say that even if he did some shit that was good or inherently good, or he boosted some people, et cetera, to sit there and act like this isn't a surprise, or that this is a terrible act, that's just shocking and we can't believe that it happened, is silly.
Wrong.
All right. Yeah,
100% correct.
CTV MPU.
Wrong. Because here's the reality of the situation. Oh my, I'm going to tell you, shut the fuck up so I can. Now, here is what has happened. Grimlow wants to bring up the N-word take. Have you never listened to rap music? Do you always listen to it and never sing along with the song? Because I certainly
No. I'm sorry. I'm putting an end to it. No N-word debate. I'm sorry. No.
We're not having that. We have to address it, though, since it was brought up on the fucking panel, Geek. If you didn't shut down Grimlow, then you have to let the rebut come back, okay? Now.
So not doing anything to talk about what I said.
Oh, my God. I'll get to you in a minute whenever I'm ready for you. Until then, sit there and twiddle your fucking thumbs until the Hippy Dippy champion is ready to address you. You got it?
But no.
Now.
I'm sorry.
Guys,
I'm putting an end to it.
He won an internet debate one time.
I'm going to mute people.
This is the guy who didn't even read the manifesto that he's claiming as evidence, right? You didn't even read the N-word manifesto.
Wow.
He doesn't defend saying the N-word in it. He criticizes people for being hypocrites in it. If you read the whole thing, you wouldn't have even used it as evidence.
All right.
Again, I said
French.
11 years of this.
Okay. Let's make one thing clear. Destiny had many controversial debates, like for sure. Every time we mention one, we cannot go back and dissect it. Otherwise, this panel is going to be 6 hours, and we're going to spend time in something that happened in 2012. So I want to move on. So if we mention something, you can mention it without just going into details and shit like this. Otherwise, I'm sorry. Just the last 6 months, we get enough for 3 panels. We cannot do that. I'm sorry. That's why I want to move on from topics like this. Sorry, CTV, go.
Okay, good. Still my turn to speak. So, Grimlow, you can't fucking bring up the issue, right? Because Geek's going to lose his shit, obviously, right? But the fact of the matter is that when he brought the take up, it's about bringing a more everyday fucking American who's been listening to any fucking rapper since the fucking 80s, right? And they've enjoyed the music about fucking saying the word. As a matter of fact, most of the black people that I know don't even care about the fucking N with the A. All right, that's just the reality. But trying to bring that to the internet where it gets scrutinized by millions of people, all of a sudden becomes a problem. But whenever it's just you and your buddies or you and a fucking crowd of people, it's not a fucking problem. And that's the difference, right? So back to what motherfucking Jude was saying, right? Now, Jude, where were you at again?
What state? What do you mean, where am I at?
Your fucking take, genius. Come on.
I lost it after all of that.
I know. I got interrupted 6 fucking times before we got there.
Likewise. I'm not talking about any one specific thing. I'm talking about the pattern that exists, the means to which he generated interest in his shit. When you start off toxic as fuck, to where you're essentially doing the equivalent of victim blaming, then that's not something that's beneficial to all this great discourse that's being fucking generated.
Okay, good. So now that we understand each other, right? The fact of the matter is that anytime that he pushed back on somebody else's idea, in the whole stealthing thing, because what happened is the girl said that this happened, and then all of a sudden more information comes out, yada, yada, yada. The whole point of pushing back the idea was that, one, she highlighted the idea that she was aware that they were taking off the condom, at the time and didn't say anything back. So that's when
I read the tweets. We don't have to recap it. I read the tweets.
You're right. So why the fuck am I having to recap it to you since you have the take that you have? I think that it
Because
definitely
I said
is.
it.
I think it's
It
definitely
doesn't matter.
I think it's definitely.
If you ask me the question, I'll explain it. He started off in a position to the outside viewer. It came across like victim blaming. 100%. It's fucking days before it got to the point where it was anything.
We're literally looping.
I think it's
All right,
definitely
CTV, go.
that you have some kind of fucking problem with Destiny and you want to be pushing back against him.
In the past, dummy.
You can't shut your fucking mouth to let me finish, can you? Now,
likewise,
I think that I've been listening, obviously. Everybody else might not want to hear you, except whenever you decide to interrupt me. And whenever you decide to interrupt me, I'm going to keep fucking going because that's how I fucking roll. Are you going to fucking learn at any fucking point? The reality of the situation is that you seem to have some type of personal problem with Destiny.
Over the last 5 or 6 months,
oh my God, if we read the same fucking tweets, then you'd understand the situation that we're talking about. And one, right? So since we don't need to recap it, I won't. But understand.
You're getting it wrong.
But no, I'm not getting it wrong. Stardust has already been explaining it to you. If you pull the shit out of your ears, right?
You can read the woman's responses to Destiny. It's different.
There's some new fucking tools that are out there. It's like a corkscrew.
Everything's clarified. Yes, you're correct.
It pulls all the fucking earwax out, right? So if you'll do that, moving forward, you'll be able to hear the headphones, right? That's putting sound into your fucking ears. Now, that right there is what a lot of Destiny's takes come down to, right? Is creating the type of pushback, at least for me, having been involved in the space in the last year and a half, has been about having the normal everyday conversations that motherfuckers are having out here in the fucking yard, out here on the fucking internet, and providing the kind of pushback against the ideas that other people will try to put themselves out as the victim, whenever in fact they do have some onus of responsibility on themselves to fight for themselves.
To any extent that you do any amount of pre-conversation about any kind of activity that you engage in, does that 100% guarantee that the other person that you did all that talking to isn't going to end up doing the fucked up thing that you're afraid of in the first place? No, it doesn't. That's
a shit take. That is a total shit take.
Fucking true.
The fact that
still end up having situations where you talk
the fact that people talk,
and then you still end up having somebody fuck you over.
No, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. The fact that people talk about something, and I'll tell you what, my personal belief is, for the little that I know about Destiny, was that he said a lot of shit. He didn't do a lot of shit, right? He didn't advocate anybody go out and do a lot of shit, right? So people that are saying that you're getting, I could say, well, I think the Constitution should be X. If fucking people go out and read it, they don't do anything about it, or if somebody does do something about it, I'm not fucking responsible for what other fucking people do, unless I literally agitate for that. You have no fucking. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I'm speaking, fuckhead. I'm speaking. Okay, so your mom. Okay, so this is your fucking bullshit, right? You say that if somebody says something just because they said it, okay, then that's total grounds for whatever. Nobody can fucking point to a single instance that I know of, okay, that anybody took anything fucking Destiny said as anything other than hyperbole and oh my God, and they grifted off of it, and they made streams of money and dollars off of it, reacting to what the fuck he was doing. It's all bullshit. He was free to speak his fucking mind. He didn't advocate violence on anybody, okay?
Except for BLM protesters.
He did not. I mean, come on, it's hyperbole. Nobody,
it's hyperbole when you say they have my blessing.
If he did that, then somebody would have taken him to a fucking court, and they would have charged him with something like that. That's bullshit. It's a typical leftist fucking smear that when somebody says something that they said, well, I think that's what that means. So therefore, it becomes that's what it fucking means.
God, the NPC dialogue tree is so powerful.
You're a fucking NPC.
Failure of
overlooking something.
Okay.
My point is
French. All right. I'm going to pray to Alec for no reason. Alec, go.
That's my favorite time to do it. Let's go. So, you said more perfect union, that wait, hold on, I fucking had a point. Jesus Christ, I'm drinking. You said that he did not advocate for any violence or anything, right? I would posit that once you have a platform of a certain size, when you say something, that carries a lot of weight. You have a lot, the old saying is, with great power comes great responsibility. You carry a lot of weight with your words of that size. No. And I see you shaking your head, but you're wrong.
Well, there's a reason.
I know you're wrong. And
everybody, because
everybody. Wait. I want Alec to finish.
I'm sure. Because I am 100% certain that you don't think that Democratic politicians, for instance, when they say things, are trying to get across a certain action. Okay, I know that you think that. All right, that you're not okay with certain people saying certain things that go against your ideals. I know that for a fact. Everybody is that way. Okay, Destiny.
I'm not okay with anybody advocating violence.
Hold on, I'm not done,
show that he did.
I'm not done, sir.
Okay.
Destiny saying those things and so Destiny saying those things and advocating for those things is a detriment when you're talking about something like stealthing. Okay? When you're saying that basically the victim is at fault because the victim didn't speak up. I would like to posit you this. If you're in a back alley, your guys are gun guys, I'm sure. If you're in a back alley and you have concealed carry and you have your gun on you and you get mugged at knife point, let's say, and you decide not to pull your weapon and just let the guy take what you got, right? Did you actually get mugged? Is that still a mugging? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you did in response. It's about what was done to you. Okay, that's what I care about. So stealthing either is assault or it's not. All right,
but Stardust, he's not responsible for it.
Hang on, I got hold on, I'm not done. Oh, sorry, what was that, Mr. Geek?
Sorry, there are a lot of people who want to speak, so I want to
I just want to get a response to him when he's done.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Sure, I'm almost done.
Finish your point after that, Stardust.
I know that I'm addressing two people. I'm sorry. I'll wrap this up. My question would be, if it's not assault, why are you so in the corner of somebody who just seems to not take it to be as big of a deal as it is? Because you have this person saying you should treat, like, in response to the tweet that I read, by the way, they said you should treat every single woman you come across like a retarded child, quote unquote, who is incapable of voicing an opinion about literally anything. I just don't see how you can get in somebody's corner like that. That's pretty reprehensible.
I'm not in his corner for anything he said.
Not you. I was talking. Sorry, I was talking to Stardust in that circumstance. I apologize for the for going back and forth. That's my bad.
I want to try to Stardust and Judd.
Okay,
he addressed me,
I did address both of them. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say let's start this and then be you, and then.
Okay, so to the virtue signaling woman interrupter, I would like to say, he and I have never said that the person is not a victim because. Just because there is a suggestion in the future. This comment about we could treat women as retarded children. This is a response, obviously sarcastic, right? Because if you can't speak about, you're comfortable enough to have sex with somebody, but you are not comfortable enough to tell them what you need. This is not a matchup. Okay? Yes, she is still a victim. I have said that. I said that like several times now. Does that mean that there is no suggestion for her to in the future to avoid this type of situation? No, absolutely not. You can have two things. They are not conflicting. It is not conflicting to say that she's a victim of assault and to say that you shouldn't maybe have sex with somebody.
Show me where he says she's a victim of assault.
No, wait. Because I need to respond.
I just fucking said it 10 minutes ago.
Stardust,
show me where he said it.
Well, let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. Well, tell me where he said that she wasn't a victim of assault. Like, the thing is he all he did was suggest that she should not have sex with people if she's not comfortable speaking to them about what her needs are. This is basic communication. If you're choosing to have sex with somebody, you should be comfortable enough to communicate what your needs are. This is just 101. I thought we were leftists here. I thought we were all about communication during sex. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Secondly,
Alec, don't deafen yourself again during the stream.
Secondly, Hassan has.
The fuck I want? What are you talking about?
Secondly, Hassan.
You're part of the fucking show right
No.
now. Don't deafen yourself. Be a part of the fucking.
Stardust, go.
Yeah. Okay. So again, in response to the virtue signaling woman interrupter, I would say that Hassan has multiple times the viewers that Destiny has, and says things like "kill all the capitalists and let the street run red with their blood." This guy, why the fuck are we not holding the same fucking standards for both of these people then? You get to a certain size, and honestly, you're not going to be able to control every single member in your audience. I don't think what he said is wrong, though. It's not like I don't think what Destiny said is wrong. It's not that these things are completely exclusive. Somebody can be a victim, and you can still advise them in the future how to avoid these situations that are dangerous for them.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
it.
So here's the thing that ties the shit up. Okay, these things that you guys are talking about, there were fucking hypotheticals. There was no evidence presented that this was an actual fucking assault that happened to somebody. It's like, what would it be in this particular case? And you guys are all fucking losing your shit over things that aren't even factually brought before a fucking magistrate and charges being brought forward. Period. So you're making so much out of it just because it's like fucking churn, the fucking drama machine that you guys like to operate off of. It's stupid, right? And if fucking Howard Stern could get away with the shit he did on terrestrial radio 20 fucking years ago, he could never do that today because society is so fucking woke and everybody is so goddamn snowflake bound to the cold that if it gets hot, if we have the shit that's going on in Ukraine with Russia, if we have a fucking World War III situation, you motherfuckers out there that are so worried about this shit, this kind of a construct, you're going to be in the first wave of fucking bodies that piles up when society fucking collapses because you're completely incapable of dealing with your shit.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Jude, and after that, we're going to go into closing statement.
Going back to my original point, all of these individual things, sure, we could argue for 6 hours apiece on each one. The fact remains, Destiny himself has said numerous times on his own stream that the people he decides to highlight and quote tweet, that he fires the first shot at, are tweets that his viewers, or at least people, which you can assume it's his viewers, send him in the first place. That creates that cycle of like they get the dopamine rush because Daddy Destiny showcased their tweet to make fun of the weirdo. And that it continues and continues. So now you have a group of people, in order to give content to the content king, want to seek out marginalized communities to fucking harass them. You can say that he's done great shit. That's cool. But if you can't admit to the fucking actually no shit toxic elements of what his brand is, I'm sorry, but I can't take you seriously.
All right. And
weak.
All right. We're going to jump into closing statement, but before that, I just wanted to say something that I wish was brought up more, which is like basically 3 points. First of all, I think that like people need to, I know it's a meme, but like people need to go outside a little bit more and realize that like most people, when it comes to discourse and shit like this, are like, we're not there yet. Like most people have problem with no means no and shit like this. Like this is the reality for most people. And Destiny disagrees on stuff like trans athlete and like really, I'm not going to say details, but like stuff that is like kind of like advanced compared to the discourse that you like most people have every day. So like I think that most people would agree when you hear him debate like against John Tron, against like really transphobic people and everything, that Destiny, like, I don't know, like putting label like racist, transphobic and shit like this on people, when you look at stuff like that, you know, there's a difference. But that being said, Destiny is a fucking PR nightmare. Imagine being Twitch for a second when you get someone, just as a reminder, we spent Christmas calling each other pedophile on this sphere, on Twitch politics. And after that, we jumped straight into like the rape discourse, and now we're into the trans discourse. Twitch is we're a PR nightmare for Twitch. We're the lepers. No one wants to touch us. We're brand risk, basically. So that's another aspect. Twitch only cares about money, and yeah, that's a danger for them. Anyway, that's just something.
That's why Hassan still has a gig, right?
But
Hassan can market way more than the Destiny. But anyway, I wanted to throw it into closing statement, and CTV, since you have something to say, go.
Yeah, I just want to say, Geek. I mean, to be fair, right? Because I don't want this to be my closing statement, but to be fair, right? Like a lot of the reason why the discourse ends up falling the way that it does has a lot to do with the news, and then streamer has a take, i.e., in this case, Destiny, and then that take, right, based off of what ends up happening, ends up driving a lot of Twitch politics. I just want to be fair to that. So,
I mean, yeah, Destiny is controversial. Anyway, all right, who wants to start for a closing statement?
Yeah, I'll start.
All right, go.
If nobody cares. Because mine's really short and sweet. I
Also,
generally have...
sorry to interrupt you, but since it's the last topic, do closing statement and shout out. Basically, shout yourself out, tell people where they can find you and everything. All right, MPU, go.
Yeah, I'm the More Perfect Union. I am a constitutional streamer, occasional twitch.tv/the More Perfect Union. Currently, I'm doing a retrospective on Supreme Court nominees from the perspective of the minority party. That means the Senate. When the Senate, what you get it right. So, what is the difference between how one party treats their nominees versus how they treat the other side's nominees? And I'm doing it all the way back from Judge Borg forward. So, if you get a chance this week, check a look in. It's kind of interesting to see when you talk about the political discourse of things. With respect to this, look, I'm a huge fan of freedom of speech, and I think that this whole construct of TOS that everybody talks about, everybody's had terms of service for decades, but the problem is that the culture is woke. We have to be super sensitive to everything that's going on. And I'm not making that necessarily as a pejorative. I think we need to be aware, be sensitive of things that are happening, right? And not go out of our way. But I also think that the pendulum swings way too fucking far. And we sit back and everything is a fucking problem for everybody at every fucking turn, right? So when we look at the political pressures that users put on, the boycott issue stuff, this is where a lot of these things are coming out. Twitch and Amazon, these guys are afraid that somebody's going to go out and fucking boycott them because of something somebody said. But to be honest, our founders wanted people to be able to speak their mind. They wanted to speak freely. And even if they said stupid shit, they thought that was okay. They thought abhorrent speech was okay so long as it does not advocate violence or a violent overthrow of the government. Justice Brandeis made it clear that the best disinfectant is sunshine. More speech is the answer to speech. If you don't like what somebody like Destiny's doing or Hassan or the More Perfect Union or whatever, come on the show, come on your own show, talk about it, bring it forward, and then edify the fucking community. For people to say that it's okay that he got banned because they disagree with the fucking stupid fucking takes he had, they were stupid takes. Unless you can show that he advocated actual violence, not my interpretation, that he said mow down somebody. Well, he could have been talking about blades of fucking grass. We don't know. Okay? But the idea behind it is unless you are advocating imminent harm to somebody, the fucking speech probably ought to hang around. And if you don't like it, bring it on, react to it on your fucking stream and edify people and then create a better dialogue and a discourse. When we shut down fucking people, we don't do anything that's productive for anybody.
And where can we find you?
I said it at the beginning, which is twitch.tv, the More Perfect Union.
Geek, if you don't mind.
Twitch.tv, the More Perfect Union. I'm doing a retrospective on Supreme Court nominations from Judge Borg forward. My name is the More Perfect Union. I Twitch stream on the More Perfect Union. Is that okay?
Yep.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, Geek, if you don't mind, I'll go next.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything from Grimlow or Alec, who seems to be the main pusher backers against Destiny, right? So I don't know if you're doing this for because you actually believe it, or if it's for, you know, like for the argument's sake for here tonight, right? I really don't care. Fact of the matter is that we've got a big vacuum here in the Twitch politics community, and none of us fucking know why, right? So that right there is a problem in and of itself. If you're more worried about the why than you are then you know, worried about what you're saying on your own, then you're probably just trying to run down the line of trying to be the next hot take king or whatever the case is. That said, I think it's a damn shame that Destiny was banned from the platform. I think that as MPU has laid out, even speech that you don't like has its place. That would include all forms of speech, even the ones that I definitely would disagree with, like communism apparently can have a place, but Nazism does not. I find that hypocrisy to be kind of fucking bullshit, even though I disagree with both ideologies. So that's the kind of inconsistency that we have from this platform. That's the kind of inconsistency that we have from the internet as a whole. And that's the type of inconsistency that we continue to see play out here in society because of this culture. So until you little fucking pricks can get it out of your fucking head that you need to control somebody else's speech, there's one solution to that, and it's going to be the one that you're not prepared for. And it's not the one that you're going to be able to have on the internet, because when the shit breaks down, and it's not an if at this point, considering world events, it's a when. When the shit breaks down, you're going to be the ones hurting on the back end of it. And you're going to look back to this thing and go, you know what, maybe Destiny me getting banned was a bad idea. Maybe I should have actually fucking paid attention to what the Constitution and our founders and our framers fucking said for our government. And maybe I should have took that on board as some kind of fucking principle. But you didn't. You just wanted to be a scared, woke little fucking bitch sheep. And just be like, oh, he hurt my feelings. My feelings. Oh my God, my feelings. Oh my God. That's what the fuck you sound like. So grow a fucking set of nuts. And unless you got a fucking set of nuts, don't even bother coming over here and talking to me, because I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I give a fuck about facts. And the fact of the matter is that he didn't say a damn thing to advocate fucking violence against any other people. He didn't say a damn thing that advocated assault or sexual battery against anybody else. And the fact that you don't like his takes just let me know how much of a little dick syndrome that you got going on.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Stardust.
Okay. So I have a couple of responses here. My first response is to Mr. Geek. I agree with you. The pedophile discourse is absolutely horrible. But one thing I've learned interacting with a lot of different spheres online is that Twitch politics is actually one of the less worse places. If you want to see some really bad pedophile discourse where everybody's accusing everybody else of being a pedophile, go look at YouTube commentary. Okay. Secondly, regarding the BLM riot comments, maybe his words were more callous than they should have been regarding the BLM riots, but Destiny did get departnered for those comments, right? And he did pay pretty significantly for them. YouTube has terms of service, and they are more likely to demonetize people, just like that was, rather than ban them from the platform. Regarding the stealthing discourse, I would like to reiterate that if you can't say something when someone is taking the condom off, and you've agreed to sex with them, you're probably not emotionally mature enough to have sex with them. And if you'd stealth someone, you're definitely not emotionally mature enough to have sex with them. Just because I am giving advice to somebody to avoid future assault doesn't mean that I am absolving the assaulter of the guilt that they should feel and everything that they should go through for being an assaulter. In fact, I would say if you don't give this type of advice to young people, you you are actively creating rape. You're literally a rape maker. Then also, I would like to respond. What Destiny may say is inflammatory. It doesn't mean that he deserves to be accused of rape or accused of assault or to have his nuanced takes misrepresented. Twitch enforces the TOS very arbitrarily with no transparency, and they're very inconsistent with who they moderate. Hassan, who has more than 20K viewers at a single time, has said the following things. He said, America deserved 9/11. He's also said, kill all the capitalists and let the streets run red with their blood. He's also said the Russian invasion of Ukraine was U.S. propaganda. He also said the Russian invasion of Crimea was completely justified. I don't know how you can be okay with the lack of transparency around Destiny's ban and then simultaneously be okay with Hassan, again, sitting there with more than 20K viewers, spreading disinformation on a very regular basis. I mean, he was watching RT to cover the Ukraine and Russia war for a significant portion of time. The dude's a fucking idiot. And that's all I have to say about it. Don't be a rape maker.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Alec.
Thank you. I'm very glad Stardust got to go first because the last thing I would want to do is speak over women. So my thing is, Stardust, you've actually changed my mind on this. I'm going to now go to all of my female friends and also my siblings and cousins and tell them all to make sure that they don't wear skimpy clothing when they go outside, because the last thing that they want to do is be raped, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go do that.
You get it on video when you do it, please, because I'd really like to see that conversation.
Yeah, okay. It's my closing statement. The other thing is, I don't know why Destiny was banned. I don't. And I think that it's wrong that we don't know that. Okay, I want to reiterate that and make that perfectly as crystal clear as possible. I want to know why he was banned, because I could potentially disagree with it. If he was banned because of his take on trans swimmers, I disagree with that. And I disagree with his point on trans swimmers as well. I'm not going to get into that, but I think that's a reasonable take to have in this political atmosphere. So if that's why he was banned, I'm not okay with that. Okay? If he was banned because of a comment that is victim blaming, which he has clearly done, very clearly, then I'm okay with that. I think Twitch needs to do a much better job enforcing the TOS in a very clear, distinct, direct manner. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to say that they shouldn't. Okay. At the same time, I think that this is a net gain. I think that Destiny has been nothing but a toxic nuisance to the left. Okay. Republicans don't like him. Democrats don't like him. Leftists don't like him. Nobody likes him except for his own insular circle. Okay. Nobody, and it's created a pit of toxicity. And every time I meet somebody who supports or defends DGG, they end up being the most toxic, annoying motherfucker that I've ever met. And on top of that, I don't see him being good for the overall discourse. So I am 100% okay with him being banned. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. On that note, I would like to know why he is banned. I think that's important to know so that the rest of us can know, first of all, what the TOS is, and second of all, whether or not this was a justifiable ban. I can disagree with somebody and also not agree with the reason they were banned. I'm not above that.
All right, real quick, because I realized I forgot. So first of all, Alec, can you tell people where they can find you? And after that, we'll go back to Stardust and CTV.
Yes, I'm Alec Gunter, AlecGunter on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter as well, and also on YouTube, but I'd have to link those specifically. So just on Twitch, Alec Gunter. Like I said, I do leftist politics, video games, all that shit. So, come find me. We have fun.
All right, Stardust. You're muted.
My bad. I am Stardust, liberal, left-leaning kind of content creator. You can find me on Twitch, Stardust, spelled exactly how it sounds. And I'm also on YouTube, and you should check out my Discord as well. You can find these all on my Twitch. So, thanks.
All right, CTV.
You can find me at twitch.tv/critically thinking veteran. I facilitate the Infinity Acre Wood, where it has become a home of homes for content creators, right? Content creators, it's apply to become a part of to become a part of the House of Representatives here that we have in Infinity Acre Wood, get their own text channel, voice channel that they can use at their leisure. We've got such names as here, let me look at the list right quick. We've got
real quick, we're not done with the closing statement.
I'll tell you what, I'll go with the end with that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Gremlo.
Sorry, I was looking at something. So I really wish we could have gone, instead of just like relitigating a lot of the receipts, kind of talked more about the kind of community that he's created on this platform. If we are going to agree with the statement that Destiny created the space for politics on Twitch, I think that's kind of an indictment of this panel, showing once again that these kinds of panels do not arrive at the truth. They do not arrive at the correct information. It is simply blood sport and toe sucking of people who we want to orbit around. I would also say that I'm not going to lose any sleep. I didn't think about Destiny before this. I will not think about Destiny after this. And it is free 99 to not cape for people who call for violence and are generally a shit person. And you can find me on twitch.tv/Gremlo Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right. Have baked takes.
So I'm Half Baked Takes. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch at Todd from Half Baked Takes, and then on Twitter, my actual name TODDKITZLER II, because I'm the second. Anyway, I just think it's ridiculous that that Destiny was banned. The fact that the left wingers in here are gonna like point to TOS, but then they say like, well, we don't know what bit of TOS he actually violated, so I don't know how you're leaning back on that. As a person who was kind of brought over from the right to the center by Destiny, I think it's really short-sighted of the left too, and the lefties that are like hooting and hollering and loving this because they're losing the ability to one of their best arbiters of bringing people over to the left side of politics, because like it or not, lefties, he's still very much on the left side of things.
All right, fresh face, new idea.
All right, I am Fresh Faces New Ideas. You can find me on twitch.tv/Fresh Faces New Ideas. I usually stream around 7:30 p.m. to about 9:30 p.m. EST. Usually at least Monday, Fridays, but sometimes it varies during the week. You can find it, my streaming, when I post on Twitter at Faces Ideas. Look, I had summed this up about an hour ago, and then we didn't get anything new from there. There's a whole bunch of different issues with this. One, it is possible that Destiny has said things that have broken TOS in the past. It is possible that he deserved this ban. However, we do not know, and us having asked for why he got banned so that the rest of us can judge whether or not it is a correct ban, as we do with any time any other streamer gets banned, is a logical take to have, and it is the correct take. It is not celebrating it in either way. It is saying we need some accountability for the platform that apparently, according to CTV, is the government now, so I expect to have some government benefits, because that's how the First Amendment works in silencing free speech. But in that case, Destiny was good and bad. Yes, the idea that he is a good orator that helped bring people to the left is an absolute take. The fact that he had some terrible takes that we spent hours debating on is also true. The idea that that people could step into his shoes is totally possible. I, for one, am happy in the sense that maybe we'll have some less ridiculous conversations across the board for this. I actually would like Twitch politics to focus a little bit more on actual solutions and dealing with actual problems than some of the asinine conversations, which is a large reason why I feel like I don't know what Destiny has done, because most of my interaction from what I've seen with him has been asinine. Now, that might be my personal interactions. I think anytime a large creator is gone, it creates a vacuum. We'll see who fills it. Maybe somebody better will come up. Maybe somebody worse will come up. But it's on the people to want to make a difference to try to fill that vacuum in whichever way they can. I'm not celebrating him being gone. I want clarification. And I do think that ultimately Twitch being a shit job at their way of enforcing TOS, whether it is in this case, whether it is what happens with BX Bullets, whether it's what's happened with hate raids, whether it's what's happening with just their ability to respond to their own Twitch reports, is also a problem that needs to be solved. Those things are simultaneous and can all coincide at the same time. The fact that we spent an hour going down each of these little fucking issues that Destiny had is just blood sports on this. The problem that ultimately comes from this is we don't know what happened. And until we do anything other than saying, yeah, this is then basically my statement of we don't know and can't make a conclusion, but we did lose somebody who had an impact, is kind of irrelevant.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Jude.
Yeah, so I think the saying basically goes like one fuck up undoes 1,000 attaboys. And over the last like 6 months alone, I'd say Destiny's fucked up about 50, 60,000 attaboys. If the main way that you try to sanitize something is to say that, well, what he said wasn't that big a deal and that somebody else said worse, I can't take you seriously if you can't deal with the realities of what the kind of community he was fostering, first of all. For a lot of people, when they want to talk about, well, you know, the terms of service is bullshit and that you should have basically unlimited free speech, or et cetera, well, that's fine, but come back to me when you're willing to have increased taxes so that you and your money can pay for the right to have a service like Twitch, where you're going to fund all of the servers, the employees, all the shit that goes on with it, et cetera, et cetera. Until that happens, spare me. But ultimately, I don't think anything's really going to change from the platform. Like I said, we're all independent contractors, and as much bemoaning the fallen hero, somebody's going to want to take up the space. And if they don't, here's my challenge: if you're here and you're going to bemoan Destiny's removal from the platform, it just means you can't stream your interactions with him. Go on his stream. Go do some pro bono work. Put in 2 hours a week so you can go pay back somebody that did so much for you in the outset. That's the challenge, and we'll see who does that and who doesn't moving forward.
All right, and where can people find you?
Jude WTH across most platforms. I don't really have a set schedule. It's more of a when I feel like it type thing, but that's where you can find me.
All right, K-Buckoff.
So like I said in the beginning, I really didn't have a lot of interactions with Destiny. I knew a lot of his takes. I've heard them around the community, obviously. They get around. I've seen a lot of his Twitter posts get shared. I understand a lot of the shit he says, maybe a very controversial take, but sometimes you just gotta have thick skin and be able to rebuttal back at them, or you enjoy them, whatever. So sometimes that's just how it works. As I said, I don't think the politics community is going to change. I think we're all going to adapt. I think for the next probably a month or so, we're probably going to be talking about him for a lot of this. I think this is a big topic right now because he was one of the key members in the politics side of the community, especially within smaller streamers, because he was one of the few bigger streamers that did interact with smaller name streamers. Also, to make fresh faces, new ideas, mention the idea of like creating a change rather than just having like asinine conversations about it. I definitely think that is something that we need to move towards in the politics side of Twitch, as finding solutions. Obviously, our words aren't really going to mean as much to the outside world, but they're at least something. We can at least have an educated conversation on how we think we should possibly change these things. But I think we need to have these asinine conversations at first, go over the full details of it, and then get to the point that we can actually make educated decisions on how to change from this. And without the exact reasoning of why he's banned and what TOS he actually broke, we don't have a way of actually figuring out how we're going to change these things. And I think that's why we went around in circles on what things he did say and how controversial they were and how they affected people. And we all saw how many people in the room got riled up over certain topics. So obviously those things have affected people, but we just have to look at those as like, were those the exact ones that he got banned for? Was that a possibility of one of them? And a lot of those were tweets, and how they connected to his Twitch account is a little bit of a different story. And if those were the reasons why he was banned on Twitch, or if it was something he did on stream, which opens the door to a lot more avenues. But yeah, so we can have this conversation for hours and hours on end. We saw it on Dylan Burns on the Hippy Dippy on Sunday, or on Friday. So it's all how it is. You can find me at KBuckoff on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I stream occasionally, trying to get back into it. Definitely follow my Twitter. I like to post on there a lot and say when I'm going live. So that's about it.
I wanted to thank you all for being here. For everyone in everyone's chat, go follow our wonderful panelists. Oh, sorry, CTV. Wait, did you go?
Well, I had one last thing to say. Remember I said I was saying at the end? Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, right, I facilitate the Infinity Acre Wood, where we have a Supreme Court, a Senate, and a House of Representatives, all constituting streamers, right? So this seems to be an idea that has been tossed around a few different times by way of trying to create a Twitch politics server, right? But the point here is that these are levels of moderation in the Discord. We've already saw Demon Machine's Discord got banned for reasons unfucking known, right? Now we've got Destiny banned for reasons unfucking known. So the whole point here is for content creators like Grimlow, who's talking to his chat right now, right? Or Alec, who fucking deafened earlier whenever Stardust was addressing his point after he had asked her a fucking question, right? That we have a body of government in place to be able to handle the issues going forward, right? So as a member of the House of Representatives, you get to edit and delete fucking text chat to make sure that TOS and Discord isn't broken so that we can all maintain our community. So this is my attempt, and has been my attempt for a while, to try to bring people together. Hopefully people can see the good that's there instead of saying, oh, CTV's a conservative, I'm going to hate him forever. Ha, 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 ha. Well, you're the one that's missing out, because my community has names like, and just to be fucking crystal clear about it, we've got Colonel Dan, Danabo, Dylan Burns, Kate Speaks, Montreal Player, MPU, Preacher, Ranger and Rogue, Revolt Rise, Turk Force, Buckeye, Operation Madman, Spartacus, and Zonia right now as a part of the House of Representatives and the Senate that help make all of this fucking go forward, right? I'm expecting to have a whole lot more names included in this moving forward. So if you are a content creator that is trying to get your name out there, being a part of this community is a good place to start. Because
just wanted to thank you all for
Danabo's paying attention to what's going on in the Infinity Acre Wood, seeing as how he's
anyway, just wanted to thank you, my chat, for being here and everything. So, yeah.
Can I just say really quick how awesome that is, that like for someone that's such a staunch conservative that he's trying to unionize? That's actually really fucking awesome. A Twitch union is really needed, so that's dope. Good for him.
That being said, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Twitch.tv/Danabo. You know, if you're here, it's because you got an invite from him. He's doing a wonderful work behind the scene. And yeah, take care, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks so much again for hosting, Mr. Geek.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Much appreciated.
Look forward to talking to people in the future.
Thank you all.
Bye.
All right, I'm done. That was a show. This is all I will say for now. That was a show. It was a stream. It was something that happened on Twitch.tv. There were people. A lot of people. And yeah. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Twitch.tv/Danabo.